He doesn't like me, and I don't like him.
Us. Hey, look at us.
Look at us. Huh? Who would have thought? Not me.
You just shook up the world. How's that feel? Hey, I'm not surprised, motherfuckers.
It's happening. Listen, before this episode starts, we just thought we'd make a little clip to let you know that anyone who doesn't know, we now have a Patreon. It is patreon.com/another one podcast. And there's like a few different tiers on there. And we can go and get where you can sign up to us. And it helps us make this podcast. Helps us pay for the podcast. Helps us make it better. Helps us improve and put more content out. We've got big plans for things we want to do. Haven't we? Since
Yes, we have. We've got big plans. We have got big plans.
Yes, Rob. Yes.
No, we have got big plans, and without anyone signing to the Patreon, this will die.
Yeah.
This will go away eventually, because if we can't make it work financially, we can't keep doing it, can we?
No, we can't just keep throwing fucking...
No, and we've got Aftermill to buy, and that fucking costs
We've got kids to pay for.
Yeah.
Listen,
We
I'll
need
be
to
honest,
keep this...
if I can't provide, I'll leave.
Yeah.
So...
And we already know.
You don't want to make an orphan.
We already know how it's going, don't we? So we needed to be giving us something back.
Yeah, please.
Because we're bleeding here.
My kids are begging. My kids begging.
So sign up to the Patreon, patreon.com/another one podcast.
That's it. There's 3 different tiers, loads of different prices.
Pick one.
Pick one. Help
Sign
us.
up. You won't even notice it going out your bank. It's a couple of quid.
Less than a Tesco meal deal. Or, well, maybe more than a Tesco meal deal.
You'd buy a starving man a meal deal, wouldn't you?
Yeah, well, I'm starving.
That's what we are.
Look at me.
Look at him.
Do
you think that? Do you think this?
Help.
Another one.
Okay.
There you go.
It's happening.
So Daliso's now on a one-man mission to...
This mic is
sorry.
closer to my mouth than anything. Like, literally, I'm giving the microphone fellatio. That's
the spirit of the
the
podcast.
situation.
Welcome, everyone.
That's how we want the mic to feel afterwards as well.
Yeah.
Well, I'm clearly
We want the
talented.
listener to feel like they've received a blowjob. That's how good we are after the episode. Welcome
Orgasm. Yeah, hello.
to another one podcast.
As you know, with Daliso here tonight.
Yep.
Yeah, good to be here.
Daliso Chaponda.
Flying solo.
I love that there's no theme. I was ready to I was like, what's it about? And you said we just talk.
Yeah, we just have a laugh.
Yeah, just a little. Well, you meant to be on with Ryan, but then obviously Ryan
Gleeson was meant to be here for his second cap. Mr. Blackpool.
Yep.
But he's cried off today. I think my thinking is he didn't want to be here and be from the biggest shithole. So... that was my thinking.
That's a joke he's tried to make there.
I think he's just racist.
Well, that's probably what it is.
He didn't know it was me, and then he was like, "What the hell?"
We asked him.
I live in Blackpool, not to see a black man screw it.
We said, "Are you friendly with Daliso?" And he's like, "Yeah, no, Daliso dead well." Like, "So I want to come do it." And he's like, "Yeah." And then today, blamed arthritis.
Are you friendly with Ryan?
I had that as my first question.
I've done his gig. We get along. I actually think like no, the truth is, no, I get along with
right under the bus. Now, fuck him.
No, my whole point is
yeah.
I think it's easier to think of comedians you don't get along with, because I think generally I feel like we're the same tribe.
Yeah.
I can be on a bus, I can be on a train, meet a comedian, you have a great chat for 3 hours. You know what I mean? Like, and
Where
even if you don't know them.
Yeah, you can always talk shop, can't you? So like, there's always a common theme.
And also you riff about jokes, and you just kind of we're screwed up in the same way.
There's a nice camaraderie with comedians, like that's where we go. So, I always think that as well. Like, even when I'm on all these sort of things, I could just go into a comedy club and say hello, I'm a comedian.
Oh, it's also great, because when you go to another country,
Yeah.
Right? It's amazing how you
we
embrace.
don't tend to do, but you do.
No, but I'm just saying, like, I went to Malaysia and I went to an open mic.
Yeah.
And it was the same people. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There was the guy who does twisted one-liners, who's really shy. There was the guy who doesn't get off stage. And there was a guy who thinks he should be more famous than he is.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's the same people. They're just Malaysian.
Right.
So when you went to Malaysia, was it a lot of Malaysian comics?
Yes. There's a huge circuit.
Is it
Jinx? Yeah, Jinxio was there when I was there. I think he's actually based in Singapore, but Singapore and Malaysia like next door, so it's a lot of the same comics.
Right. So what were you in Malaysia for? Just touring?
Gigs. I just gig.
Did you get booked to gig, or just think I want to go and gig somewhere else?
No. I got booked. I wouldn't just go to a different country, show up.
But you not show up, but go.
Right.
I want to go to that place, or I'm going to book some gigs in that place. Or did someone approach you?
That is true. So what I do is that I will send out messages to all the countries where I'm interested in touring. Right, all the places I'm interested in performing. Yeah, and some of them come back and others don't. So there's an element of that. Yeah, but also it's like if I'm on Facebook and I see someone just did a gig somewhere. Yeah, then I'll be like, hey, I want to do that, and so I'll find out how they, you know, I mean, like, so but that's because I like the idea of performing in lots of countries. I don't. Well, it's because you're not British, are you? You're Malawian. I'm funnier. Well, I'm Malawian, but I was a refugee when I was growing up. Like my radio show is called Citizen of Nowhere because literally I'm everything. Right. I grew up in 14 different countries. I don't really, and if I'm ever in one place, I get bored. That's what I mean. So is it more of a second nature to you to whereas there's a sort of, I don't know, I think there's in Britain, not just, and this isn't just comedy, I think throughout Britain, we don't travel well, like work-wise, in the sense that not that we don't travel well or we don't do well, but don't really see many British footballers playing in foreign countries. It's always like a novelty we do. David Beckham was a novelty. If you go to Germany? Adam Ramsey was a novelty. But I see what you mean. Yeah, but only recently. This is only the last 10, 15 years. You're right. Before that, it was all a novelty of being there. And then it seems to be the same way with comedy sort of thing. You hear about a British comic trying to break America, you're like, oh. I'll tell you, part of the problem is your accents. Yeah. Right? Like, the part of the reason I can travel anywhere is because I grew up all over the place. I have this kind of weird, very understandable show. But, like, you could not go to Malaysia.
He can't go outside Liverpool, mate. Never mind outside.
Literally.
I struggle south of Birmingham.
Yeah. I actually gigged with Raymond Mearns, who's a genius. He's hilarious. But I literally have to focus. Right? Yeah. I have to listen, and then I'll be like, okay, what did he say there? And I was just like, slow down, please help me. But he's so bloody funny.
Slow down, please help me.
I gigged him in Glasgow. So that was like...
next level.
Yeah, next level fucking, like, but killing it. But I'm just there going, this is just like watching like a spell.
And
of
also
just, like,
there's a lot of slang. I saw him
laugh.
do a long routine about gingy bottles. And I was like, what's a gingy bottle? And it's what they call like the bottle left when you have a ginger ale or something like that. I don't know. Yeah. But the whole room was losing their mind. And I was just there like, I don't know what's going on. So
I don't like that though. Sometimes it's like, this is great. Like everyone's dying laughing and I haven't got a clue what's going on.
But because I travel a lot and perform in lots of countries, I have very few jokes, which only a person from that city would
that's good though, isn't it? That's why you're such a killer, because you've never written for like one specific place. Like
because I do think it can become a crutch in that local references
postcode in it is what's called, isn't it?
Yeah, local references will make people go, wow. Yeah. But the problem is then you can't leave.
Do you do that on purpose, or is that because of your background that you've never really wrote a joke that isn't universal?
No. It's things like early on. Second place I went, I was in Canada, then I was in South Africa. And in South Africa, there was a guy called David Cow.
So this is where you started comedy in Canada?
It started in Canada, right? But like, there was a guy called David Cow who arguably was funnier than Trevor Noah. Yeah. In South Africa. Yeah. But Trevor Noah became what he was because he was funny everywhere. Yeah. David Cow's stuff was brilliant, but it was about that street and Zulus and Xhosas. And if you didn't and I wanted to be, I still want to be like, the guy who everyone in the world is watching. Some people want to be I was backstage.
I really liked I love the idea of being a big fish in a small pond.
I was backstage at Hot Water, and I remember comics were talking about how I want to be the greatest comic in England. And I was like, why not the world?
That seems an odd one to be.
Why not the world?
You want to be the greatest in England?
Like the greatest British comic.
Yeah, but I like to be the greatest.
I'm trying to be the greatest British comic. And I understand that's a great aspiration. Right. But why isn't your aspiration to be the greatest comic in the world?
See, my thing is, though, I want to be the greatest version of me. And the minute I become universal, I'm no longer me.
Pussy, that is the greatest
No,
version
but
of me.
universal doesn't necessarily mean, like Richard Pryor talked about growing up in a brothel. That's really specific.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. I want to be able to do that. I want to be able to put my life into content. At the minute, I don't ever want to not talk about the things that I want to talk about because I want to be universal.
But that's not what you do.
It's all about the numbers. It's all about the numbers, the seats.
You can tell the same joke. You just have to make them understand. Like, I literally talk about refugee camps. Who's been to a refugee camp? Right? I talk about, like, Malawian politics to people in Blackpool. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, so, but it's how you get into it.
Yes.
And I feel like a lot of people, they don't explain for those who don't know that thing.
I suppose that's the skill, isn't it? Is making something that people don't know about. Like, let's say if you look at an alternative or like an act that does weird shit, and it's like, we can't book this for a weekend because the audience won't get it. Well, the task for them is to make the audience get it, and that's probably how you'd make someone who's good or not. It's the idea that they go, these have no references to us, but I'll make it work.
Yeah.
And that's the original, like the original sort of thing of it all.
Yeah, like you have that group. Like, I think I'm not sure if I've mentioned it on this podcast. I definitely mentioned it on when I did have a word. One of my first bits where I was like, I love that bit. So I'm proud of that bit, sort of thing. And I used to think it reminded me of Prior, because I used to talk about like my cousin selling drugs from my nan's house, and if I told it in Liverpool, I could literally just say that. Yeah. Like, my cousin selling drugs from my nan's house, and everyone would just be fine with it. There'd be no judgment. There'd be no sort of like. But then you go to like a middle England village, and I have to sort of sound appalled by it. So you have to change your tone. You have to go, the cousin was selling drugs from my nan's house, and I have to make out that I didn't agree with it or I was appalled by it, and then I have to sort of paint my nan a different light of, because that joke is, I'm mad at it that my nan's just fine with it. Like the maternal, the matriarch of our house, our family's just absolutely fine with cousins. And like, whereas, and then in Liverpool, you're just like, fuck hell, how mad that your nan doesn't give a fuck. Whereas in the Middle of England, I'm like, that's my nan, and she's just not ours. Like, that's my role model. And I have to sort of ham that, and then the joke will work at the end. Then sort of.
There are tricks that I think sometimes if you trick, like, you know. The idea, like a classic one, is just sort of saying how much love you have for a certain person and then go into eviscerating them. Like, sometimes I would value, I've said this before, like, value the idea of just eviscerate them.
Yeah.
Don't, and then it's interesting. I know why you have to go, I don't get me wrong, I love them, they're the best thing, but then go into saying something.
Yeah, because we had this on the Patreon.
Yeah, like, we've had this, like.
I've got a bit similar where my lad's was 8 weeks premature. And if I say that on stage, I have to mention that he was healthy and fine.
Yeah, otherwise you're a dickhead.
I can't say my lad was 8 weeks. I can't say my lad was 8 weeks.
It's interesting to comedians for you to be a dickhead, but to the audience, you lose some of them.
Yeah. I know, but then I also go just like. But then sometimes when
I'll give you an example.
So I feel lose the integrity.
It depends if it's someone who they're inclined to be on the side of.
Well, yeah.
Okay. So, for example, when I was dating someone whose kid got in trouble at school, right, and for waving a knife around, and I'm laying into this kid. I'm an adult laying into a troubled kid.
Yeah.
So I have to couch it with something, or I'm a dickhead. Right?
They just trust that they know. I know about that. You said about the audience that are inclined to believe. Like, cause when I did a support thing for Stayed, there was more. I noticed there were certain lines that I can do in a club and doing that audience. That they were just fine with, they were more okay with the more inappropriate lines.
Yes, because they're fans of a very inappropriate comedian.
And then it's like, but then I suppose you got it. That's the whole thing in a club, is that you just have to do it, don't you?
No, I'll tell you this. It depends on the kind of comedian you are, because there are some comedians who are performing for, let's say there's a crowd of 100 people. There's some of them who are trying to get 60 people in the room to love them to the core and follow them forever. And there are other comedians who are... I don't even think it's financial. It's the kind of comedian you are. And there are other people who are trying to get 90 people to laugh, right? Now, those 90 people might not be dedicated. No, but I'm a 90 person. I'm a 90
I know you are.
I'm making everybody
You're a pussy.
laugh. No, I think a big laugh... Like, I don't understand these people who, it's like, why are you alienating it? These people
I get that.
They've come to be entertained.
But then you're thinking, they were trying to get 60 to laugh and 40 to hate them. But then you go, why not try and get 90 with what I'm going to do for the 60? Like, that's the skill.
Get 90. Get 90.
Get 90, but still get the thing that could do the 40.
But I'll give you an example.
So try and make it as hard as possible.
I prefer Michael McIntyre to Stuart Lee.
Okay.
A lot of comedians prefer Stuart Lee, who's going for 60, if not 40, right?
Yeah.
And McIntyre is going for 100.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's the kind of comedy I like. I want to make everyone
But
laugh.
what about trying to make Stuart Lee 100?
No, but that he can't.
Who says?
He can't.
Who says?
Because it would change. Because
that's what I'm on
Yeah,
about.
and he changes the whole industry. The Office changed sitcom.
But that's what I'm on about. That's what.
The Office changed sitcom.
No, look, I know what you mean. So you're saying that
The Office was 10, and then it's basically informed the way everybody acts now.
And I think it's
In
terrible
society?
for sitcoms.
Well, that
The
is.
Office.
I actually personally feel like The Office was great, but it spawned a lot of shit comedy. Because
Yeah, you're always going to get copycats. That's why.
the great thing about the old school sitcom was it actually was like doing stand-up in that the laughs helped the editors, right?
Yeah.
So literally, you film an hour, and all the big laughs, when the crowd laughs, tells you that's the funniest bit. That's why a lot of those
Canned laughter.
old sitcoms could kill. And even canned laughter doesn't work how people think it does.
Right.
It's adding plus. It's not that there's no laugh and they add a laugh, right? They literally will listen to a laugh and then they'll be like, oh, like add a bit, right? But the laughs are telling you where to edit. So like my radio show is done in front of a live audience. So it's easy to edit. Oh, there was a laugh there, there was a laugh there, there was a laugh there. Now, when someone who's not Ricky Gervais tries to do a crowdless sitcom, some of them aren't editing where the laughs are. And you're like watching this, you're like, you need a crowd there to tell you that wasn't funny.
But do you not necessarily think sometimes you can laugh at a bit that it catches you one day and then one day you don't laugh and then you do? So I'll watch something and then I might not laugh then today, but then if I rewatch that episode or something, I'll find a new laugh. It's layered.
It is layered, but I'm just saying that it worked for The Office, but loads of the copycats are crap.
But like Partridge, for example, I think is a great one of you discover a new line every time. You go there and you'll just see him do something with his eyes or a little nod or something and you go, oh, I got a laugh there that I didn't get the first time. So like you rewatch Partridge and you get more laughs from it the longer you watch it.
Okay, I've got too much stuff to watch. I'm not rewatching my favorites. But all I'm saying is I'm very much like, I think I'm chasing the big laughs. I don't even want a laugh. I want an applause break.
Clapter. Clapter.
Not clapter. Laughter and applause. There's a difference.
Oh, there is.
Yes.
There's a massive difference.
This
Well,
is...
it is to make them
I
laugh,
agree
not
with
make them
you,
make noise.
But laughter and applause is, this guy is so brilliant, I'm laughing and clapping.
Yeah, but that's like, but then, yes. But some people will
negate the laugh for the clap.
No, I'm not talking about other people. I'm talking about me.
When are we next gigging together?
Anytime.
With a ticker.
I actually want to do a show called Applause Break.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right? And
So do I, funnily
the
enough.
only theme is this. The only theme is this. Literally, I'm going to have a clicker.
Yeah.
And every time I get an applause break, I just click.
Yeah, but what about when it doesn't get a laugh, though? You just get an applause break.
That doesn't happen to me.
Oh, yeah.
That doesn't happen to me.
Okay.
Right, okay.
Okay.
Guys, I'm funny as fuck. Okay. I don't know why you're acting like you don't know this.
So you want the laugh and the clap?
No. Essentially, the whole show has a rhythm, right? You can't have every joke be a laugh and a clap.
Okay.
Well,
right?
you can't.
No. You can't do it. Essentially, it's like you're building a rhythm, right? So it's laugh, 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 clap, laugh, 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 clap, applause break, laugh. But you have the rhythm, and you're like conducting the audience, right?
Okay.
And essentially, the peak of it is near the end when you've worked them up, and now it's laugh, applause break, laugh, applause break, laugh, applause break. But it took the whole set to get there.
Right. Okay.
You're not getting that when you walk on. It's like you build the rhythm. And
So
you
how
break
many
them.
how many claps, applause breaks do you think are attainable in a 20-minute set?
Where in the world am I?
Manchester Frog and Bucket.
Manchester Frog and Bucket. Manchester Frog and Bucket. If the host is decent,
Okay.
Don't be throwing shade on anyone else.
No, because am I having to build the gig from scratch?
The gig,
or the gig?
Yes.
So let me put it this way: if it was Mick Ferry, I'm getting an applause break within 30 seconds because he's already woken them up.
Yes.
Okay.
If it's a mediocre host, right, I've got to start building it. That's why you have a host.
It's the frog. You're closing. The show's gone. Fine. 7 out of 10.
Show's gone fine. Then I'm saying
for everyone else, not for you. You're coming on.
I'm closing. Then I will make it like I will have at least 5. I'll have at least 5
so you
or
think
6.
one every 4 minutes,
4
right?
minutes.
So you think you can get a hit rate of 1 every 4?
If I am in Africa, I can get 1 a minute.
1 a minute?
Yeah.
Is that?
If I'm in Malawi,
how do you build momentum?
What happens in Malawi?
Clap every minute.
If I'm in Malawi,
They just never stop clapping.
they just lose their mind.
Is it?
I was there last week. I have the video. I'm not making this up.
No,
I believe you. Yeah.
It's like,
I spoke to Dan Soff, who said at black gigs, like if
Every
they
minute.
love you, it's a relocation.
Yeah.
So it's when they stand up, they run around, and they're just like that.
I had a guy run up stage and high five me. Like it's a different kind of excitement.
Yes.
Right? And it's but also
How
if
do
they
you build
don't
momentum?
like you, they're gonna fight you.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
No, but
Yeah.
it's a different rhythm, and it's also when I started with gigs like that. The first time I did like a white gig, I was like, oh, I died on my ass.
Right.
And I watched everyone else, and I was like, oh, these people just don't clap, they just don't scream.
But how would you build momentum then in a room like that? It's just clapping all the time. Do you have to do very different kind of comedy?
But
than what you
even
would do?
that, like, there's like, wah! And then there's the deafening scream, and then there's there's always like a different rhythm, and then there's certain lines which you know. So I have a few gags. So there's one thing, it all works in all African countries. It doesn't work in the UK, interestingly, right? Where I talk about how the US going from Obama to Trump, right, was like if you found out that Jay-Z has dumped Beyonce and he's walking down the street with insert local, you know,
insert local trashy white woman.
No, trashy black woman. It works in Africa. You use somewhere
right, okay.
And they go nuts. And I know that will lose the crowd. It literally breaks the crowd. Also because it's in a country where they don't know I know the references. And so I've found out something.
So not right, okay.
And so I will do that around 2 minutes in. And it will be the first, oh my God, how the fuck is it? Yeah. And then that has now cracked the...
So would you say that's one tool you've got most than other comics have? That you're so well traveled, you've been to every place, and you know some of the references that they're not expecting you to know.
Are you still researching references?
No, I'll tell you the interesting thing. I think it's also that the fact that I'm chasing applause means that I write to get applause.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
so let me put it this way. No, I've got a gag.
But then does that not make you think...
I've got a gag where it's funny. Right?
Okay.
And one bit of it gets applause. So I'm getting rid of the rest. I know other comics who would keep the rest in.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's just like the way you build your set is based on what you want to get. And so, like, if you watch someone like Chris Rock, he gets applause because he writes for the applause, right? It's like, when is the joke done? I know a lot of people who, when they get a ha-ha, they think it's done.
Right.
And I'm like, that joke's not done. That joke can still go further.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that I get applause because I'm like, it's just because I've been chasing it. So there are loads of decent jokes which are on my spreadsheet, but I don't use them because I'm chasing the applause.
Right.
Do you not think though that's like, to me, there's something a bit where I don't know. The idea.
Okay, it's different for it's different on an hour show.
The idea of chasing
20 minutes.
No, I know, but the idea of chasing applause. I'm not saying what you think's the funniest thing to say there. To me, is a bit.
What you think that? What does my opinion matter? It's what the audience.
Because you're put on a show. It's art, isn't it?
Oh,
you're the artist.
I'm not. Look,
you're ticking boxes. Is what you're doing.
No. Because everything I come up with is something from me, right? And that's why I'm a different comic every day, right?
Yeah.
So I'm a different comic in an art center than I am in. Hot Order than I am in Malawi.
We all are, really.
All of them are my thoughts. But I can think these thoughts are going to make this crowd happy. These thoughts are going to make these crowd happy.
Yeah, but you can also, you can also think, right, I know this thought is going to get this reaction, whereas I truly believe, me, myself, that's the funniest thought. So for me, I would say there's some artistic integrity in I am sticking to what I believe in.
Oh, no. I think there's a thing. Don't write anything you don't believe in. Like, I'm not going to write, like, the BNP set about, like, fuck them foreigners, get rid of them.
Yeah, but
right?
what,
I believe in everything.
This is where you're going wrong, Daliso.
That's how I become, like...
That's where you get...
No, but I'll actually tell you the truth. There is a backup plan. Like, if I... No, I'm telling you.
You're going to go right wing?
At any moment, if I lose my audience...
Yeah.
There is an emergency go right wing, like an African gone right wing. Oh, they book me like crazy.
Yeah, they would, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't need it yet.
But it's there.
No, you can take on, if you're an intelligent person, you can take on any opinion.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just logic games.
Yeah.
That's how you write a play.
So
That's how you write a play.
when you look at a crowd though, and then you've gone, this will work better for these. Do you ever think, but what if I did give them the line that mightn't work well and it worked well?
No, but the way it works...
Just as
but
experiment.
I build my set as I go. Okay, so my opening 4 or 5 jokes are tester jokes.
Yeah.
Where I am diagnosing the audience.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right? And so I'm doing a few different subjects, few different things, and the first one that goes, I know you guys.
Yeah.
Right?
And that informs the rest of your set.
It informs the rest of the set. It's different on a tour show when there's a story. But we're talking about comedy clubs, where it's like, in a comedy club, I am just trying to TKO the audience, right? Maybe I'm being artistic in my 1-hour show when there's a twist and there's some sad moment. But in a comedy club, I just want to make people cry with laughter.
Yeah.
Right.
You just want to get the best reaction possible. Yeah.
And I gigged with so Imran, I brought him to Malawi, and he's being like a real purist, and he's doing all his newer stuff, and I'm like, these people have not watched any of your YouTube stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Do that joke, and they will go crazy.
And what did he say to you?
And he was like, but that's an old joke. I don't do it anymore because people haven't seen it. And I was like, no one in Malawi has seen it.
You are very scientific with it, aren't you?
Yeah.
Do you have that kind of background?
I was a programmer, but but even before that, I guess I.
Like the way you describe, like diagnosing it is very like, this is me.
Oh no, I've got spreadsheets, and I've got the joke, I've got whether it's an opener, a closer, whether it works in this city, whether it works in corporates, whether it works for kids.
I can just about keep track of me fees,
people.
mate. Never mind. Fucking hell.
Oh, I'm terrible with the money stuff, though. I'm just.
Do you like football?
Proper scientist.
No, can't stand it.
Right. Okay.
Well, it's not that I can't stand it. It's that I'm obsessed with plots and stories.
Okay.
Yeah. The only reason I ask, because like, you to me remind me of Jose Mourinho, Rafa Benitez, game manager. I'm coming here for the result. Where you got other people who are like a Pep, a Jurgen Klopp, a Brendan Rodgers, a Eddie Howe. I play football this way, and that's the way I play, no matter what happens. And if I go here and get battered 5-0, I play that way, and that's it. And if I get battered 5-0, so be it.
That's what you want. Exactly. I think that's the right attitude.
Which one?
That you're here for the result.
Yeah.
You know, you're here to win. And
so you're parking the bus if you need to.
What do you mean
Like, park the bus means like, we're just going to set up to defend.
Defend.
And we want the 0-0, and that's it.
We'll steal a win. Yeah. We'll steal a 1-0 win. Long ball, 1-0 win.
I'm trying to think what's the comedy equivalent of a 0-0.
You going, like,
it's like basically
you're going into a room that looks like they aren't going to like me.
Oh, and so if I walk in and I'm like, these guys aren't going to like me, I have a set.
Right.
Okay,
I have a set.
Oh yes.
This is Martin Luther King's speech. I have a set.
No, I'll tell you the interesting thing. I have a set from back in Jongleurs days.
Okay.
Which is
you get the iPad out and blows and does stuff.
Yeah.
It's literally bulletproof. Like literally, this set. I burnt a lot of it on television, but it was each joke led into the next joke. It was a clock, right?
Okay.
And it never could fail. It was like literally, but it was built over like 12 years. Yeah. Just adding this, taking this out, adding this, and sometimes, like if it's a corporate or it's 4 hen-dos, I'm like, Bring that back.
And has that ever died? Has that ever died?
Can't.
Fuck off.
That's some arrogance.
No, but it's not arrogance. It's my job, and I've been doing it for 20 years. Do you think a surgeon goes in like, I might cut his brain?
To say it can't ever die. It could always go wrong. Come on, you would.
What do you do then? You go into a room.
Have you seen me die?
No, you don't die.
Anyone listening listening to this,
down the camera. Daliso is known for never dying. You are. I will
say there is one comic who has seen it. Danny Mac has seen it.
Yeah, that cunt's seen everyone die. He'll tell you. He'll tell you died.
No, but it's true.
If you smashed it, he'd tell you died anyway.
No, it's true. But he saw it, and it was a sad day. It was a sad day.
Where was it?
It was Frog and Bucket.
Oh,
it was around Christmas time.
Here we go. Now you're starting to make it seem less. Yeah.
No. I don't need to give it a context because there was a Daliso who could have smashed it, right? But I actually think,
of course,
I think that I had got a bit complacent, and so that was very much me because I had got a bit complacent, and so I didn't come at them as I would have Daliso at 25 who was hungry.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean? Like,
what would you do then? You go into a room and they just want it. So Saturday, I was in a gig nuts for the Shore Heath Social Club. They just wanted to be all about them. Every one of them knew each other. They just wanted to be all about them. What do you do then?
People say that, but it's not true. Right? I've heard people say they want it to be all about them just because the host is smashing it. That's not true.
Well, it's not because the host is smashing it.
Laugh.
What they want is to be ripped. They want to join the show, to get an egg, to shouting out.
Okay.
How are you handling that?
Okay. I would bring out, out of retirement, 200 years ago, this used to be an auction.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That joke was one from that set where literally it will shock people out of whatever complacency, and then what the fuck did this guy just say?
I can't believe you said that. Yeah,
I had another one like that, which was I moved to the UK because of the BNP, right? Because they're taking all the jobs, all the good women. I was like, that's what I'm looking for. I had a few jokes like that. They're always one-liners.
Yeah,
done in the first minute.
Right.
Wakes them up. I have one right now, which is again, it's one-liner done in the first minute.
Yeah,
wakes them up, and I think that's the thing is. The first few minutes, I'm punching them very rapidly, getting them to pay attention.
Yeah.
Especially if the rest of the show hasn't been good, right? And then I can do what I want.
So when did you stop dying?
Okay, so it was
let's go from the... Can we go from the start, because I want to know from the start. So...
I did my dying in Canada.
Yeah. Right, so you're right.
I almost want to set up a gig with all the Patreon money and pay the audience to not fucking laugh. Get a new active and just go, fuck you at the end of it.
No.
Go fuck yourself, Daliso.
No, I know that pride goeth before a fall. So I know that I'm going to die royally
but I respect...
on television.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean?
I respect you sitting there saying... I don't die, because he does it as well.
I don't die.
No, I don't die.
I don't die. But it's my job.
This is the fucking meat in the mouse.
Job. It's my flipping job.
Yeah, but I'm just fucking boss.
I think this is the thing, is there's
I don't put myself in a position to die.
Could you imagine any other job if you hire your accountant and he's like, the numbers might not go well today?
Certain surgeons get... I got to say, a professor who did an operation on my knee, that was, I mean, he's dead now, but he was facing... he was facing a case where somebody died on his operating table, so it does happen.
You can't go for an operation without them telling you there's risk.
Yeah.
No.
So every time you book a corporate, you float. Listen, there's always risk. They could go either way.
No. I will say
you accept the risk of this corporate.
Is I will see comments of people saying he's shit. Right? There are people who don't like me. I'm just saying because I am someone who's aiming for 90%.
Yeah.
My numbers are such that no one knows I'm dying because more people like me. But there are people who are like, he's shit. You know what I mean? I'm not saying every human being finds me funny. I'm just saying
we understand exactly
in a comedy club, it's like,
you
know. But again, I know, also, I'm getting older. There might be a day when it just stops happening. You know what I mean? I'm just
what a day that will be.
That will be a day.
I'd love to see how you function.
I'll tell you what
with a run of bad gigs.
No, I'll tell you what the hardest thing is that because I'm always writing new stuff, right? And the problem with being like me is when you're working on new stuff and there's a gig where it's not screaming, you can always just go into the barrel and bring out the old stuff and get that reaction.
Right. Here's where me and you're going to might fall out.
Yeah.
You go to a new stuff gig.
Oh, no, new stuff gig.
No. You go to a new stuff gig.
With papers.
What are you doing?
New stuff.
Just new stuff.
That's a new stuff gig.
And it doesn't go well.
Oh, but look, I'm actually saying, I'm not even counting a new stuff gig where people are reading off. If I'm reading off a piece of card. Yeah,
but I know. I'm going to say, if I go to I do new stuff and that's it.
No, but there's comics, people who don't gig enough. I can't feel bad for them. They don't gig enough. But I do 8 gigs in a week. Why am I going to waste a new stuff gig on stuff that's not new?
Well, that's what I mean. But if I go to a new stuff gig, I want to know how good my stuff is. Like there's people who go on stage and will do 2 minutes of gold to get them on board to then do the new stuff. And I want my new stuff to be the 2 minutes of gold.
There's no right way to do a new stuff.
No, there is. You just do new stuff.
No, because...
No 2 minutes ago. Don't be a fucking shit house. No. You go there and you let yourself die on your ass.
Yeah, but that's going to the gym and not warming up, mate.
Exactly.
Yeah. You need to warm up with the old stuff and then you're ready to live.
Warming up is for shit houses. I've never warmed up in my life.
This podcast's going to get fucking eggy, isn't it?
Fuck that. If you go to footy and you're doing laps before the game starts, I know you're shite. What? If I turn up to 5-a-side and some cunt stretching in the corner, I can tell you now he's shit.
Well, wait, you're again stretching?
Yes.
Okay. All I'm saying is
I'm too good to stretch.
You're not talking about it. There's no wrong way to do a gig which you are doing to make your set better. It's whatever you are doing to make your set better.
I disagree.
So if there's a person who does all old gags and then one new gag which he's working on, that's what he wanted it for. It's a tool.
He's a fucking fraud is what he is.
No, I will say that I feel like there are a lot of people who think there's a right way to be a comedian.
I'm going to take the piss. But...
Oh, no, there's a lot of people who there's like this kind of real purist way to be a comedian. I'm like, no, the job is to make the people laugh.
Right. Can I go back to I want to know how we got smashed here.
Oh, right.
So back to the start.
Okay, I'll tell you
the very
truth.
start.
I'll tell you
No, let me ask the question first.
Yes.
Right. Are you a refugee in Canada, or are you just living there, sort of thing? Like,
no. I went there so I was born.
Yeah.
With my dad as a refugee.
Right.
So I was a refugee as a baby, but I didn't know.
Yeah. Okay.
And then by the time I grew older, my dad was now working for the UN.
Yes.
Right. So it wasn't a refugee anymore. So
right.
I went to Canada just on a scholarship to.
What university?
To university.
Right. So at what point from North to UN to scholarship did you decide you wanted to try comedy?
Just in university. Now, I always wanted to write. I was going to write books.
Right.
Right. And then I just accidentally in Canada discovered, I'm good at this comedy thing.
When you say, hang on, I discovered it.
I was doing open mics. I was doing open mics, but like I was doing poetry.
But what made you want to do it?
Rap. I just like being on stage.
Right.
And
I think there was like, I considered being a preacher.
What's wrong with you, Daliso?
I knew I needed to be on stage.
I think every comic's got something wrong with them. Because we all want the attention.
I've got loads wrong.
We all want the attention. So what's your thing that made you go on stage? Because I think
I think that I felt unappreciated by life, by people, by whatever.
Yeah.
And people didn't dismiss my opinion, and I felt like I have secrets and I have stuff which is amazing. And if only you guys could listen.
Yeah.
And stage was a place where they had to listen.
Yeah. Brilliant. So when you first went on stage, it was just to be on stage then.
Yeah, but I didn't know what I was doing. All sorts of things.
And
like
the comedy was going back to everything else, was it?
Debates. Yeah. I was doing poetry. I was doing rap. Something about me wanted to be in front of people.
Yeah.
And then there was an open mic which was comedy. I'd never seen comedy. Well, I'd seen comedy, but I didn't know it was stand-up.
Yeah.
Right? I'd watched Eddie Murphy's Raw.
Yeah.
But I was like, that's that actor I know doing a one-man play. Right? But then I went to this
problematic now, isn't it?
It's not problematic. That doesn't exist.
Ooh.
Doesn't exist.
Right.
So Eddie
We'll get back to that. Don't be going on your side.
Problematic is nonsense. But anyway, comedy is a game.
Park that. Keep that. Well, So when did comedy start outshining the others? Or when did comedy...
The first night I did comedy.
You just knew this was it.
Now to be fair, now that I look back, I actually had stacked the deck, but I didn't know this. I had invited everyone in my university residence.
Yeah.
Just because I was excited. I'm doing comedy.
Yeah, so you got a show off, aren't you? More of a show off? Because I invite no one ever. So you wanted
just excited
everyone.
Because I had seen comedy for the first time.
How old were you by when you did?
I was 20.
Okay.
Yeah, 20. And so I'd seen comedy for the first time the week before. And I was like, this is amazing. Can I come do this next week? They said, yeah, sure, sign up. And then I literally went door to door to everyone in the university.
People you don't know.
I was like, yeah, I'm doing... By that point, everyone knew me. I literally just was chatty and I knocked on people's doors. And I was like, guys, come, I'm going to try do comedy. I'm going to try do comedy. And I wrote my own crappy set, but it was stuff like there was a funny rap in it. There was a funny... I didn't know what stand-up was, but it was my being funny. And now that I actually look back, I smashed it because everyone knew me. Yeah. Right? But it was okay. It wasn't great, but because they were all literally like, this nutter, right? And it went so well that I enjoyed it. And now this was what I wanted to do, right? And it was only later I realized, I stacked the deck. And the reason why I started being all mathematic is the first time I had a bad gig, it depressed me to no end. Yeah. Right? And I was
Tell
like,
me about it, man. I'm there every
anytime I have a bad gig, it's like, it depressed me to no end. And so I was like, this must never happen again. Yeah. Right? So anytime I have a bad gig, I go home and I think through the entire gig and I'm like, how could that gig have gone well? Right? Because there is a comedian who could have smashed that. Yeah. And how can I learn what he does or she does? Right? And so like, again, like if I do like a cruise ship or something and it went badly, I'd be like, there's probably a comedian, one of these street performer kind of comedians who can figure it out. How can I do it? The first time I had a rough corporate, I was like, who's really good at corporates? Sean Mayo's good at corporates.
Steal their stuff.
I just rang him, talked about how do you do it. And it was even just things like, get an expensive suit, where make them respect you before you even talk. So it's that thing. It's like, because I'm very scientific about it, any bad gig was the enemy. Yeah. So after around 5 years of learning from every bad gig, they stopped happening, or when they did happen, they weren't as bad as they were. Yeah. See, and then by the time I got to the UK, like it was one a year. And then now it's maybe one every 3 years. So
from Canada, South Africa, was there a reason?
So it's Canada.
Sorry, go on then.
Had to leave Canada.
Right, okay.
Visaed up. So went to Malawi. There's no comedy in Malawi. Did an internship in Ethiopia. There's no comedy there. So I went to South Africa. There was comedy there.
So how long was you in Malawi and Ethiopia for?
Only a year.
Right. No,
I knew that I'd found comedy now.
Yeah,
this is what I'm saying. Do.
Was
plotting.
Was you there thinking, right, comedy women do? Yeah.
So South Africa. Yeah. Went to South Africa. This was before it exploded. Part of me thinks I should have stayed there because all those people I started out with, they're all famous now. You know what I mean? Like, but we didn't know they were building the circuit, right?
Were they Noah?
Yeah, it was Trevor. It was Loiso. People like you wouldn't know them, but this guy David Cow. But they're all gigantic institutions there now. Yeah, right. And literally, we were doing gigs in a little hotel function room, and just in like they're building it from nothing. Right. Yeah. Right. And I needed to make money, so I was like, I can't, So I moved to the UK.
At what age was that?
26,
so 27. Doing it sort of 5 years. No.
So when you got to the UK, was you very much hitting the ground running sort of thing?
I hit the ground running in that I had a strong 20, and I was solid. I wasn't like bulletproof, but I was solid. Yeah. Right. So like I won all the gongs and all the things when I showed up because I was like, I did my getting decent. I had done the Just for Laughs festival. So I'd auditioned and got into a world-class festival with Jerry Seinfeld. So I knew how to do. I had an amazing 5. I didn't yet have an amazing 20, but I had a 5 which could. Yeah. What became my bulletproof 20? I had a bulletproof 5.
Yeah.
Right. So you came to the UK and then.
So you said you needed to make money.
Well, I needed to make a living. I needed to see a future. And when I was in South Africa, it felt like a hobby.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and
you couldn't see where it was going.
My whole family was like pressuring me because I was this.
You got like quite professionals in your family, haven't you?
Yeah, like economist, doctor, like, and also like I was the very clever one who was throwing away my I was like a straight A student, and I'm like, forget this. I could be a professor, or I could be a a nuclear physicist.
Was that hard?
Forget that. The hardest thing was, to this day, I actually think if I had failed my exams, my family would have been like, try this comedy thing.
Because you.
Yeah, but you might not have been as driven to.
Yes,
get
but
where
I'm
you
just
are.
saying.
Was it hard
to my
your dad?
family? They couldn't understand that someone who, on paper,
Can they now?
Had the future ahead of them.
oh yeah, now they lost their mind.
Now he's put on telly.
Pre-telly, they were like, "What are you doing?"
What was it hard to say to your dad? Listen, I'm doing this.
Oh, it was a fight. There was like interventions, like I was an alcoholic. Like they got like I had an uncle who tried to be a poet and failed, and they had him call
God,
me.
that's depressing, isn't it? A failed poet. Fucking hell.
It's
Just
call
what,
me.
bleak.
Yeah, it's just bleak. And look, there were times when I was like, maybe they're right, because like I would visit my brothers who are in like, 3-story house with the BMW.
Yeah.
And I'm like struggling to pay my rent in Manchester. You know what I mean? Like in Moss Side.
So how long were you struggling around the UK circuit for?
The
Well, not
question
I know you're not
what is
struggling, but like just
what is struggling?
not where you are now.
I mean, like I would say I became a headliner after around 2 years in the UK.
Really?
Right?
Yeah.
But even then I was like a club headliner. In a club headliner, it's a decent life.
Yeah.
But I was happy.
It's not 3-story BMW outside.
But also, what year was that? Because
Exactly.
obviously,
So that was 2006, 7, 8.
so that's when there was more going on, wasn't there? For like,
So did you arrive at about the time of the boom?
No. The boom had just passed. Boom had just passed. And also, like I'm saying, as a headliner, I wasn't in the store and the for a while. And then I became like the top-seeded jongleurs act.
Yeah.
Right.
They had a ridiculous thing where they would grade you after each show, and then they would add it up. And
Really? That's great.
Your numbers were the best.
Yeah.
and I had the best
Like you'd
numbers.
add up your totals and
Yeah.
be like, oh, he's top of the league.
Yeah, I was top of the league. I was top
They
of the
should
league.
do that.
It
That'd
was
be fun.
great. It was great. But all that meant is that they started booking me a lot, and I finally could move out of my crappy
Right.
flat
Yeah,
into
yeah,
a
yeah.
nice flat and stuff. And so even when I started doing telly, I had now started living decently off comedy, right? But that's also why telly was easy for me, because I could entertain
What was the first thing
a
you did on-
room of drunk people who barely are entertaining. How much easier is it to entertain people who are paying attention with cameras pointed at you?
What was the first bit of telly you done? Was it Britain's Got Talent? Or had you done something before then?
I'd done a bunch. I'd done a lot,
you?
actually.
Like the world.
I'd
stands
done
up.
Did you feel more experienced than before?
No,
for
no.
going?
I had done things like The World Stands Up. I had done all sorts of little comedy things. I'd done Stand Up Africa. I'd done a lot of stuff. It's just that none of them had 100 million people watching.
Yeah.
It was just a difference of scale.
Yeah.
Which blew my mind. I went on a romantic trip to Mauritius, get off the plane, and they will recognize me. Right? It's a whole different world. When I did World Stands Up or something like that, once every 2 months, someone would be like, "Hey, are you that comedian?"
So when you do Britain's Got Talent.
Yeah.
So obviously you've got it's a family show.
Yes.
It's a varied audience. We talked before about how you've got loads of different sets for the right kind of gig. Are you going there to Britain's Got Talent and thinking, I need to play this room? Or are you going there thinking, I need to play who's going to buy the most tickets at home?
No.
Or like, what you try? So when you're walking,
I'll tell you
you're walking stage Britain's Got
I'll
Talent.
tell you exactly
what
I
are you
did.
trying
I
to do?
told you I have the
Bulletproof.
No, I have the spreadsheets,
spreadsheet.
which have opener, closer, and then there's another line which is applause break.
Right.
What's after that?
That's the top. That's the top.
Come on, Daliso. Where's the relocation?
Man runs on stage, gives you 5.
Get in tonight and add the relocation.
Relocation.
I want you to relocate a spiky mic gig. They can't fucking move, them old cunts. Relocate a paraplegic, come on. Heal him, Daliso. Yeah.
If someone's still in a wheelchair by the end of your gig, you've failed.
Yes.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
The paraplegic line as well.
But all that BGT was I just went to applause break, crammed them all together, go for it.
And so,
Golden buzzer.
what was there?
I didn't expect it.
What was the goal? What says in so when you're on Britain's Got
The
Talent,
only
was it just
reason I did it was to
as
get
well-
corporates.
as well as that was your goal.
Yeah, I didn't think I was going to do that well. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm older. I felt like I'd missed my moment because I had a chance in 2008
Right.
Where I went to Australia and I smashed it, and and they were really excited. And then I was approached by a big agent, and I felt I should be faithful to my agent. And I was with Paul Harrington at the time, right? And I just made some bad decisions, and I felt like I missed my moment.
I don't want to
so when I went on BGT,
You were agentless then?
Huh?
Were you agentless?
No,
then?
I had an agent, but at the same time, it was essentially, I wasn't thinking it's going to change my life because I felt I'd missed that. I'm now just a jobbing comic.
You were just trying to be the best.
I'll get a video clip,
which
I'll be able to get Christmas corporates from. So all I was trying to do is I was trying to
up your income,
up my income.
Right, yeah.
But that's also why I wasn't stressed, because a lot of people like go on and they get stressed, but I was like, I'm just getting a video clip.
To be fair, you were the first sort of circuit one who, like, you were out of everyone that's done it. Like, you were so like positioned the best to go off. Like, you were ready to go and tour.
Well, you were the first person on there. You were the first person on there that was also straight stand-ups from the circuit.
Straight stand-up.
Like everyone else who'd done it was also like they were a child or they had something else about them. Whereas you were the first person I saw on there and went, he's a stand-up comic who can play Friday, Saturday nights and is playing BGT. I hadn't seen anyone.
And it created a lot of others who've done it since. Because again, like, I know that if you watch Tapeface, you're like, I can't do that. Yeah. But if you watch me, you're like, I can do what this guy's doing.
Yeah.
Right? So
how was that then? Because you went on there expecting to get more corporate work.
Yeah. And instead I got a career.
When did it change for you then?
The night it aired. What was funny is I filmed that audition months before it aired.
Yeah.
And then I was in the circuit with a secret.
Yeah.
Right? I was on the circuit with a secret.
Did you tell anyone?
No. I was sure that people would talk. I told Queeve. I told Queeve because he was my first gig after it.
Yeah.
Right?
Did you tell anyone you were on Britain's Got Talent, or did you tell anyone nothing?
I told everyone nothing except Queeve.
Right.
Because literally it was the day after.
Yeah.
Right? And then I kept the secret. Right? And then the day it aired, the explosion on my phone made me realize, oh, this is bigger than I thought. Because I still thought it was like, World Stands Up or something.
Yeah.
It's like it's good, but it's not.
Yeah.
And then I have a video which got to like something like 50 million after 2 days. And then I was like, what the hell is this? This is crazy. And then that was when I was like, oh, this is not like anything I've done.
So did your mindset then change when it came to the live shows?
Yes. The only thing my big mistake was I never, if you're ever in a competition, don't look at the betting odds. Right? Because I was fine for the audition and I was fine for the semi-final.
Yeah.
And then my brother or someone sent me the betting odds that everyone was betting I was going to win, and then that little demon went into my head.
Like you thought you'd already won or something? Like you thought, I'm going to win here? No, it's just
like I wasn't stressed. I didn't think I could win. So every round I was having fun. And then when people were like, you can actually win. Look, they're saying you could win.
Yeah.
It's not even the hope. It's the £250,000 which you're spending.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So you go, hang on, there is a chance here.
Yeah.
And then fuck.
And before that, I was just having fun, right? And it's very interesting. The guy who won, he was just having fun.
Who was he?
His name's Tokyo Myers, and I was sharing a dressing room with him. And before performing, he was playing like FIFA.
Yeah.
Right? He was just like, he wasn't like
that's what you've been doing. Well, I don't know, what are you like in a green room? Every time I've ever gigged with you,
he's writing.
You seem all right. Yeah.
I'm just chilling, having
He's there
fun.
with his notepad, fucking writing more and more goals. You think, stop doing that, Daliso. I'm sat there having a Peroni. Will you just put that away?
No, but I also will say,
they're texting me, man, trying to argue.
I go through many versions of jokes. Like, there's a routine I'm trying to write right now, right, where I've done around 6 versions, and it's not working yet, but... Yeah. In a month or 2, it'll get there. Yeah. So I chip very slowly.
So Britain's Got Talent final, you didn't win, but you were the first comic to really do well.
Also, I didn't realize, like, I sold out my tour, and I'm still getting booked because of it.
When did? So after the final, what was the change? Like,
so what happened was,
because like with Paul Smith, he'd gone viral.
Yes.
Hadn't realized that he'd gone, like, how much it meant till he went to Tesco and got mobbed in Tesco. That was when he come away and gone,
I immediately saw that. Like, from the day after, little kids were approaching me. People were approaching me. But I think the big thing was when they put 20 tour dates on sale. Right. Who
does that? Did you like?
So this was Live Nation. So I had a meeting. I got a new agent, and then I sat down with Live Nation, and they were like, look, BGT doesn't sell tickets. Right. They're like, you know what? We'll book you like 20 dates. It just doesn't do it. Like Live Apollo does, it just doesn't. And I was like, okay. And then they put them on sale, and they were sold out in like a week.
Wow.
How many tickets was that?
They weren't going crazy. It was like 300 seaters, right?
Still.
Then they added another 20, which is now 2,000 seaters, right? Yeah. And then those sold out. And that was when I was like, this is
22,000 seaters?
Wow.
In how long did they sell out? Like
I don't even know. But by the end of the tour, I did 60. Because they renewed and then
60 dates or 60,000 seats?
What I'm saying is they did 60 dates. 60 dates. And I, to this day, think I should have kept going.
Yeah.
Right?
If your tour...
It's very interesting because... I had a manager who was very committed to, we need to get you a TV show, right?
Right.
Because that's the game changer. And so the idea of this live thing was a distraction from trying to get me on telly.
Right.
So it was cut short.
Well, aren't you only doing telly just for the live sort of thing?
Yeah, but it's
everyone
very interesting.
Does one to get to the other one.
In hindsight, you always think what should have been done differently. Yeah. And really... I'm someone who people want to see live.
Yes.
Right? And that's my strength.
Yes.
And if I could go back and whisper to Daliso, I'd be like, just keep touring. Like, you know, Mickey Flanagan, his first tour kept being extended for like 2 years.
Yeah.
I should have just done that. Just
smash and grab.
Keep going. But it was...
So if your tour sales, how many tours have you done since BGT?
So I'm now in my 4th.
And have they been growing, or are you noticing like a plateau or...
No. So what happened was the first one was absurd.
Yeah.
Well, the second one was less.
Yeah.
And then the third one was less, and then it started going back up. And then COVID hit. Right. But it was like, the first one was just fans of BGT and people who are excited. The next one was people who are my fans. The next one was my fans. But there's so many things.
Do you play them differently?
I also switched. Oh, yes. So what I do differently is things like, now when I do tours, I do my first half squeaky clean because I've got kid fans. Then before the break, I say, hey, the second half is going to have some profanity. It's going to have some adult material. So if you've brought your 6-year-old, like, you know, thanks for coming, but whatever. And then the second half.
Do they know that before the show? Because they might think, do you know what I mean? Like if you told them the second half's going to have adult material.
Oh, no, a lot of them let their kids stay. Right, and then they're the cool parent. But it's more just letting them know.
Is it advertised as a 16 plus or 15 plus or something?
I think so.
Because that way it seems a bit like...
I think every venue is.
Everything says 16 plus, but I tell them that, look, because of BGT, someone's going to bring their 12-year-old. Let them in. I will deal with that. Yeah. And so I do that.
Right. So you do that midway show, because imagine if you did it at the start and they all just fucked off.
At least if he does it at the start, at least he's giving them the money worth.
The first half is, like, it's often an hour, right?
Yeah, so they've had
an hour of clean comedy, and then, like, just some of the stuff. It's not even just that I'm filthy, because I'm not super filthy, but, like, I talk about genocide. I talk about, infidelity.
It's more the subject matter.
The subject matter.
Genocide and infidelity.
So, from BGT... what happened next? Not tour-wise, but let's use the more the contemporary phrase, content-wise. So, what was you putting out then? Was your TV? What did you do then?
Oh, okay.
To put you in the public domain.
Yes. So I put out my first DVD. Right. And it was like people's first DVD are always smashing because it's all your stand-up. You know what I mean? It's like you've been on the circuit for ages. So. Yeah. It was just like, this is as much, it was like 90 minutes of my best stuff.
And what year was this?
This was 2018.
Was there no thought into maybe trying to get a streamer to get on board with it or anything like that?
It's on Amazon.
No, but I mean...
But at the time...
Because when you're saying your DVD, do you mean...
Oh, no. Like, the streaming revolution hadn't happened yet. I'll tell you what's interesting was it was like if it was 2020, I think, 2019 or something, it's very interesting. I was on the last year where people like Manfred were making buckets on DVDs.
That's what I mean.
That was pretty much 2017, 2018, and then it just like Netflix killed it.
Yeah.
I will actually say that I'll tell you what the interesting thing is. Everyone looks at like Netflix like it's like the revolution, and this is probably a bad thing to say as a comic, but I think it's been really bad for comedy income, the same way that Spotify has been really bad for musician income.
But what Spotify has done has made live shows much more profitable.
No, but overall you get less money, right? Because CD sales used to be so like I was listening to Mark Kahn, Walking in Memphis.
Yes.
And he said you used to go on tour so that people buy your merch. Now you put out your music so that people come see you live, and it's less money.
Yes, but in terms of what someone from Spotify would say is what was happening because the money was so good from CDs and stuff is bands were putting out the music and they're never ever interacting with fans. Because they'd never had to, so they didn't have to go on. Didn't like bands would release an album and not go on tour.
But why do they need to go on tour?
Because I suppose. But then there's the idea of
Spotify pays you 0.001 pence.
We're on
there is no reality where, like, literally, I get loads of streams of my stand up on there, and I got 11 quid this month.
Yeah.
Oh, whoop-de-woo. I think it's horrible. And
I agree.
Unless you are,
I'm playing devil's advocate.
Unless
but what
you
I would
are Seinfeld or
Gervais.
Chris Rock or Gervais, the Netflix deals are terrible. So I know a few comics who aren't famous who are on.
Yeah.
I get more from Amazon.
Yes.
Because Netflix knows you want to be on it more than
they need. Yes.
They need.
Again, you go on Netflix to sell tickets because the idea is more people might watch you, more people might sell tickets. Do you not think though that is overall quite a good thing?
No, it's terrible.
Because
it's terrible.
Let me finish.
Okay.
Because our form is always best live.
No.
And
the art form is best live.
I'm not saying we shouldn't be able to make money.
Do you mean for your bank account or do you mean for the fan?
I mean for the fan. Because that's where their argument's going to come from.
No, because the fan was buying. I own comedy DVDs.
Yeah, but I didn't own every album that I would have liked to listen to. It wasn't sustainable for me to buy 10 albums as an 18-year-old and spend £120 for all the music that I want to listen to that year.
I will say that each album meant more because I would go and I'd go through the store and I'd be like, okay, this singer, I love this singer, and each one meant more. Now you just stream random songs.
Sort of. It meant more, but then also you probably, as people say now is happening with the circuit, sometimes you go to old favourites. Like I don't think it's happening now. I think the circuit's back on the up. But about 5 years ago, people made the argument you can't sell tickets unless you got a name. Can't sell tickets unless you got a name, and that's what used to happen with CDs. And because it was a choice between Oasis or a band that I don't really know, but I like that song, I'm going to choose the Oasis album. And then I didn't get to listen to all the songs on that album.
But Oasis is still making money off streaming, and that band is getting 11 quid. While they used to do an album.
But that band is getting 11 quid, yeah.
They'll get 11 show, but I'm saying you
that
used to
band's
do
now
a
playing
live show.
2,000 people rather than 200 people.
But they're getting less money.
Yeah. Okay. So there's obviously somewhere, but what I'm saying is somewhere in the middle is where the industry needs to meet, isn't it?
I don't think so. I think it's a. I don't know. I'm not an economist, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, but I'm trying to think
the economy of streaming.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually doing okay, right?
Yeah.
I've got a deal with Amazon, and I've got a deal with Next Up for a different show, and I get some money. So I can't complain, but I'm just saying that DVDs used to be a thing.
Yeah. No, I understand the argument. I'm playing devil's advocate, but I'm trying to say from a fan's sort of side of, well, look what's available now.
But I don't watch more stand-up than I used to watch.
I think most people do.
Okay.
You're different though, because you're a stand-up comedian from the age of 20 when you're in your first gig. You probably went all in and watched loads of stand-up.
Loads of stuff.
Which you'd only watched Eddie. You'd only watched Eddie Murphy Raw before then.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas Netflix, I think you'd watch more stand-up by the time you went to. Do you think 2022, Daliso Chaponda?
No, but I'm still now more likely to go on iTunes and pay for someone
Oh, 100%.
And get their record.
But now we have
thing.
Patreon, which didn't.
I don't know about that, because if you're just on Netflix and you see someone that isn't a massive comic, like, you might just put that on and just see what it's like.
Yeah.
And then you go, oh, I'm not watching that. Or
I only found Nate
but I'm
Bargatze
saying the only thing that has changed now is the discovery used to be gigs, right? You'd go to a comedy night.
Who was supporting?
There's someone who's supporting or someone who's going, and you're like, oh, let me get his thing. And then you'd listen to the iTunes thing. Or they were like radio stations. Like there was Sirius FM radio, and they would have little snippets. Like you'd hear 3 minutes of a comedian.
Well, the discovery now clearly is links and videos,
podcasts,
isn't it? And like,
so look,
Instagram.
I guess you prefer this world, but all I'm saying is
I'm
maybe
not saying
because I'm an analog in a
prefer
digital
the world
world.
of 10 minutes on the Apollo Arena tour.
Yeah.
I like that world.
That world was great, wasn't
live
it?
at the Apollo Arena tour.
Yeah.
That's what when I started.
That was great for us.
When I started, that was the mode.
That's the mode.
That's
It
what we
was
wanted
10
to
minutes and you're famous. Now it's 500 hours and you might sell 50 seats.
Exactly. And that's really frustrating.
Yeah, but then again, what that does is that's good for the people that get that small section of people that get that is good for. The rest of them aren't getting that, therefore you make your own way, which is what sort of happened, isn't it? It's the idea that Spotify have helped you kind of carve your own bit.
I don't think they have.
See, this way, Daliso, there's now more comics making 4 figures a month off a different thing besides some stand-up that is still like a podcast. Some comics making 5 figures, 6 figures a month off it. There's a wider net of comics earning extra money.
Okay,
than
but you're talking about podcasting
wasn't.
and stuff. That's different. I'm talking
that's all part of it, though.
I'm talking about these digital platforms.
Yeah, but
selling
podcasting
your
is
art for
birthed
free.
off. Podcast has birthed off that, though, hasn't it? Podcast has birthed off that thirst of they're selling your art for free because the audience wants content. So they've got that. They've got that for free. Now I've got an audience that I can captivate. I can make.
I'll tell you what's interesting. It works for some people. It didn't work for me. Like during the pandemic, right? I streamed 200 shows. I wrote 200 shows. And I was doing
again,
it
that's not live.
No, but I'll tell you what's really interesting. It was like a podcast. But what was interesting is people wouldn't sign up for Patreon for me because they thought I was wealthy as hell, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not. But in their head, they're like, we've seen you on telly. You're a rich bastard. And I was like, well, it's just, yes, I had savings,
I
but
think
that
myth's been dispelled now, I think, because I used to think at 18 that if you've done TV, you're a millionaire. But now, people, because with Instagram and celebrities being able to post the struggles, everyone's got to look behind the curtain now. And people aren't actually that amazed by any sort of anyone anymore because they see the whole life. And it used to be that whole thing of if you saw someone on, even if you saw somebody as a contestant on Countdown, you'd go, not even catch a Countdown, you'd be like, that's a millionaire.
I think
I would. A catchphrase person thinking
the glamour.
No, but
the glamour behind
let
telly.
me just say you are wrong though, because I still get approached by people who are fortune hunters, right?
Really?
And they assume I have footballer money.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I hate to let them down, but
I would think I would think you were a multimillionaire.
Yeah.
If when I was 17.
Like 17-year-old
seeing you on Britain's Got Talent, I would think you were a multimillionaire.
Exactly. And look, I do well, so I can't complain, but I'm not got a boat. I've not got a boat. I always say I'm not yet at boat money.
Yeah.
Right? I'm at nice flat money. You know what I mean? But I'm not at. I need the yacht.
You were saying. So you said about people don't want to pay for the Patreon because they think you're already rich and things like that. Well, do you not think? Do you not look at that in the same way you look at jokes and go, well, I've not delivered the right content to make them. You're doing Malawi politics jokes in Blackpool. Why aren't you letting the audience of a podcast see the real you to know that they should be giving you Patreon money?
I'll tell you the truth. We don't have all the time in the world, right?
Yes.
So everyone has got enough time to put their heart and soul into one or two things, right?
Yes.
I wrote a novel, right?
Right.
If I didn't write a novel, maybe I could have put more time into creating this Patreon, but it's like that was not what I chose to put all my time in. And I'm just saying, there are many paths.
Yeah,
and that was not a path that was
I'm not having to go. Yeah, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Like, so So right now you've got the Radio 2 shows, or is it Radio 4?
Radio 4 show.
Yeah.
So I've got a Radio 4 show. I do a series every year.
Yeah.
I'm writing books now. I write a new show which I tour every year.
Right.
And now I'm creating a circuit in African countries as well.
Brilliant.
And I just love comedy. I love jokes. I literally love jokes.
So is there any plan for you now from, right, what am I doing to stay in the public domain? Or
I've got some things coming up. I can't be specific, but like, I'm always pitching shows. I'm always appearing on shows.
Yeah.
And I've got one or two that could take me to the next level.
Yeah.
Or they could not. But I'm happy with my level. But everyone's always chasing the next monster.
Always, yeah. Well, like we talked about that a few times on the podcast, where it's, when you start comedy, you do anything just to get paid. When you get paid, you do anything just to get regular, professional. Once you're professional, you're on the circuit. You'll do anything to get off the circuit.
I think the thing is this. I'll tell you what the golden egg is that...
Not the golden buzzer.
No.
Freedom.
Okay, I'll tell you what
Daliso, that's the golden thing, to be able to do what the fuck you want.
That's not it. That's not
it
for me.
is.
It's like, I love touring.
You're wrong. You've told me I'm wrong. You're wrong on that.
No, like, I'm touring, but I don't know if my tour show next week is going to be sold out.
Yeah.
Or they're going to be 50 people, or they're going to be like, I don't know. And what I want to get to is that level where your tour is sold out, right? And you just have to write amazing jokes because it's always sold out.
Like Coldplay tickets. They put it on and they know 180,000 tickets are going.
Done.
Yeah.
They know it's a case of people getting turned away.
Yeah.
That you want to go, bing, and it's like...
Because people are always like, what are you trying to get to? I'm not trying to get to arena.
Comfortableness.
Right? I'm trying to get to, like, Richard Herring. Right?
Right, okay,
Richard Herring...
I thought you were bigger than Richard Herring.
Kitson. There's enough of diehard fans of him that if he puts on his tour, they're like, I need...
They need the tickets.
It's exclusive enough.
They get that thing. But, like, I'm just saying, like, I've done, like, shows for Herring. I've even just done his podcast, right? Yeah. And... it's astonishing. Like, they come in droves. They're
you want the diehard sort of thing,
and he always, like, he's got that. If he's doing a podcast, if he's doing
built
a
hardcore audience.
Yeah, but all I'm saying is, like, that's what I want to get to. Where literally every time I'm on tour, I announce it, and in a week I know it's all full. I just go do it. It's that.
See, to me, I think that's a way you market yourself, though. For me. Herring, Kitson, they're very similar. They're sort of off the mainstream.
I didn't mean I chose him at random. I didn't mean necessarily him, but I'm saying, like, the same is true for like if you look at the tour of Russell Howard or someone like that. I'm just saying
you want to get to the level where you put on the tour, you know it's going to sell, and then you can just concentrate on putting the best show possible.
Yeah.
So you're a refugee, or were a refugee?
I was born a refugee, but I don't remember it. My brothers remember it. But by the time I became like because I am the only brother who grew up in good times. That literally, by the time when I was 4, my dad joined the UN.
Right. Okay.
Right. So there's literally, if you look at our photo albums, there's an album where we're in hand-me-downs. There's a Christmas we're in hand-me-downs and really struggling. And then there's a nice Volvo. And I grew up in the good times.
So you were the middle class one out of all of them?
I'm the middle class one. I'm the middle class one.
So was your dad a refugee of Malawi? Or?
Yeah, I had to run away from Malawi. So essentially...
where did he go to?
It was hectic. So my dad got a scholarship, right, to India, right?
Right.
He was at his scholarship in India, and they found out about seditious, like... documents which his family had been involved, his brother and he had been involved, and so they withdrew his scholarship, right?
So was Malawi paying for the scholarship?
Well, interestingly, I've got to say he was really so Malawi had made an arrangement with India, right, and so they even called the university and said, you need to boot this guy out. Right? And the university said, no, he's a very clever guy. He's not done anything wrong with him. We're going to keep him. Right? Then they said, that's fine, but we're not paying anymore. Right? And so he and my mother split what she was getting because she was also on a scholarship.
Right.
And just lived off that.
Did they know that? The Malawi government know they were there together or not?
No. I mean, they met there.
Sorry, that's what I'm asking, because if the Malawi wants to be cunts, could they then cut your mother off?
No, I mean, like, you don't know who's someone's girlfriend in another country. You know what I mean? Like, you just, like, all you can do is, like, screw you, I'm cutting the money.
Yeah.
And then you make ends meet.
Right.
He could be washing dishes. They don't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
But they just cut the money, and him and you know. But all I'm saying is, he now couldn't go back to Malawi.
Yes.
Right? Because now the seditious person. So when he finished at the university, he went to Zambia, which is the neighbor, and he was a refugee there.
Right.
So when he finished university and he went, did he have to go to Zambia?
If he went to Malawi, he'd either be arrested or just be. It's not.
So you can go back then. Is there any hangover from that with you?
There is. My dad's a politician now. Right. So what happens often is, like,
how did your dad end up back in Malawi?
So he worked in the UN for many years, and then when he retired, this was long after the president who chased him away. Yeah. When he retired, he was chilling at home, and he'd worked in development for many years, and he was in one of the most underdeveloped countries in the world, and he was like, I've got the knowledge for this. So he started out just being a representative for his little region, and then he ended up becoming Minister of Agriculture, Minister of Education, and it sort of just happened. But, like, after he retired, he got a second career. But the weird thing is that I grew up in good times, so I know the stories of the struggle, because whenever our family sits around, they talk about the bad times. But, like, at the same time, this is also partly why I'm a comedian, I think, because I know all the struggle, but I was just chilling.
Yeah.
Right.
I've got that as well, Daliso, but it's on a very different scale. What used to happen to me? My dad used to batter me, my mum used to batter me, and then come this whole taboo to eat your kids, and then my little brother and sister come along, never got touched. But no one wants to talk about my struggle.
No, but every comedian struggles. Just because I wasn't struggling as a refugee doesn't mean that I wasn't, like, being bullied by horrible people.
That's what I mean. That's to say, every comedian's got something wrong with them.
There's horrible stuff that, like, my childhood wasn't fun. It was horrific, right, for several years. And then it was nice. Yeah. And I actually think that if it had continued to be horrific, I would have.
You're the big Chris Rock right now.
Can we pry into the horrifying nature?
I went to a boarding school where horrible things happened.
Right. Okay.
Right. And
was it like a boarding school, like a good school, but it was horrible.
Good school, but horrible
nature
in Malawi.
Culture,
no, it was
culture
in Kenya.
there.
I was like, they were like, I was one of the only black kids. But you don't know if people are beating you up because you're little, because you're a different race.
So were you the only black kid at the school?
It was. No, there are other black kids, but we were the minority, because even though it was in Kenya, it was a very good school. It cost a lot of money, and locals could not afford it.
So what age did you go to this school?
So I was there 8, 9, 10.
So you were there for 3 years, and it was just not nice.
It was horrible.
Right.
No, I mean, it was traumatic as fuck. You know, I mean, if it kept going, I'd be in a I'd either be a serial killer or
Chris Rock
or something like. No, but it's interesting. I think actually that crucible creates comedians, because when I hear him talk about his life, I was like, that was me.
Yeah.
Right. That was.
What, the Chris Rock was a.
Oh, no, I'm just saying, like,
he had horrible experiences which are similar.
Like Richard Pryor, if more trauma had happened to him, like, you know what you say, pressure creates diamonds, sort of thing. I'm just making a joke that if he had another 3 years, rather than be Daliso, he might be Chris Rock.
No, but I'll tell you the truth is, I think pressure with a place to escape creates diamonds, because unrelenting pressure breaks you. Yeah. Right. So yes, while I was at school, it was horrible, but I had a supportive family. Yeah. So I'd only see them every 3 months, but still, it was like I also had other friends who were being beaten up too, and the stuff that was, unacceptable.
So when
I didn't even know what it was.
Yeah. So when you'd go back to your parents and say, "This," would you tell them?
I didn't say fuck all.
Really? You just didn't say it? You just go.
I'll tell you the interesting thing is, like.
Yeah, but you don't, though, do you? Like,
you don't. No. This is why molesters get away with shit. Like, people don't talk about horrible stuff that happens to them, because they inbuild shame.
It's a fear of failure as well, yeah.
But it's also, there's an inbuilt shame. There's something wrong with you. Do I deserve this? There's all this kind of stuff which is around it, right? Yeah. Like, I have a friend who's actually, it's her story. I can't even tell it. But let's say I have a friend who's currently being sexually harassed.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And everyone's just like,
oh, I know exactly.
Do something, tell something, but like she barely like is able to talk to me about it, and I'm like one of her closest friends. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not easy to talk about this shit.
No,
especially when you're a kid, you don't even understand.
Essentially, you're being bullied as a kid. Part you think you deserve it, or you don't want to tell your mum and dad.
Or you think
you're being
that
bullied,
if you tell, they will they'll go nuclear on you.
Yeah. Like what the bullies will. I think the thing is, like, if you tell, it's like.
No, I stabbed one of the bullies.
Did you?
Everyone's got a breaking point, right? I didn't have a knife handy.
So you've been taking bodies and that.
But these guys had been like the last straw was we had a like sort of foresty area behind the school.
Yeah.
And they'd taken me and they'd whipped me with a vine. Right.
You know.
And I was just crying and whatever, and then they went off and they were playing rugby. And on the corner of the pitch, they've got like a white stake.
Yeah.
I had enough. I didn't care that this guy was twice my size.
Yeah.
I grabbed that stake and I charged him and just stabbed him.
Where?
Right in the belly, right?
And it went through him and that?
No, he was bleeding, but it wasn't like I remember, but I still remember this to this day. Like we both got punished, right? Because he then went nuclear on me. And then,
shit, so you stabbed him and then he just battered you?
Yeah, of course. Like, if a little kid just stabs you, what you gonna do?
How much older was he than you?
So I think at the time he was in the last year. So he was like 2-3 years. I don't know the specifics, but he was older and bigger, right? Shit. But I remember the teacher who put us both in detention, right? Under his voice said, "Well done."
To you?
Yeah.
That's great.
Because they knew that guy was...
They know what's going on.
And they know they can't really do anything about it.
There's only so much they can do.
Yeah.
So he was just like, I have to punish you, but
yeah, fair. Have you ever... So, you as a comic, because obviously we spent loads of time talking about comedy, would you ever want to talk about that sort of thing?
Oh, I talk about it all on stage.
Is that in tour shows, though, not?
Yeah, because I don't think I've ever heard you talk about anything personal like that. I've heard you talk about politics and things like that, and maybe touched a bit on your life.
You've not seen my best routine, about the...
I will have. We've gigged with each other enough times. So.
No, you probably haven't. Actually, this is my best routine.
Right.
I think it's my best routine. Okay.
Right.
And it's about dating a psychologist. This doesn't ring any bells?
No, I don't think so.
Tell a bit more, mate.
Okay, so I was dating a psychologist, right? You can't win an argument, right?
Right.
Because no matter what you say, it's like, I'll make a good point. You're like, that's not you talking. That's your fear talking.
I've heard this bit.
You've heard this bit. So I still... When I talk about this stuff, I still make sure it's got loads of gags in it. Yeah. I'm not a fan of the stop the show, make them sad, and then keep going. I must hide the pain in jokes.
No, but that's why we had this. That's why I love talking about myself.
Yeah,
love talking about my life, sort of thing. And then they say, but there'll be things that
I talk about
that are really hard. But
I'll talk about everything. Talk about everything, but I hide it in punchlines.
Yeah.
And also sometimes I hide it in so many punchlines that
doesn't even look sad anymore.
It doesn't even look sad anymore. Yeah. Like I have a joke about being exorcised, right? That's based on the fact that when I said that I wanted to change my religion, my family called the local priest to talk me out of it. Right. And I had this huge argument with them yelling at me. And
how old were you?
I don't know. 15, 14, something like that. But it was like a big, it felt like I've made this decision. I've been reading and and then like, it was such a huge thing to me that they just didn't.
So what is your relationship with your parents like?
Oh, now it's good. Now it's good.
Did it ever go through a bad patch?
Oh, yeah. There were many years when I was throwing my life away, right? And I was just like this. Oh, there were years where anytime I spoke to my dad, we'd end up yelling at each other.
Yeah, everyone has that.
Where do your siblings live?
So I've got a brother who's in South Africa. I've got a brother in Malawi, and I've got a brother in Qatar.
So, do you think you are all different because of your like where you live and your life experience? What I'm trying to ask now is, so say you had kids, would you be a very different parent? Do you think from each one of your brothers?
No.
Or do you think you'd all be quite similar?
No, I think we'd all be similar. Because I think that there was more that was amazing about the house I was brought up in than the things that were problems, right?
Yes.
And like if even it was very like achievement based house, and like it's no question that every child, every one of my nieces is an overachiever. We're very it's things which people think is wrong, but it worked. So like anytime I had a report, they would bring out the reports of my brothers when they were in the same year.
They had like a league, like junglers.
Exactly. And then like it didn't matter if I got an A, if Taz, one of my brothers, had a better
A star,
because I wasn't competing with the other.
He gets the biggest dinner plate.
Yeah. I wasn't in competition with the Muppets around me. I was in competition with my crazy brother at Harvard.
That's funny because your parents could bring out what they got, what I used to have. So my cousins, I've got a cousin who lives in Zimbabwe now.
Okay.
We used to call Martha. We used to call her Martha Teresa because she was perfect.
Right.
And all that used to happen was, so they're all just that one bit. So one's a year younger, but then one's a year older. One's 2 years younger, then 1 year older, 1 year older than her, sort of thing. So I'm starting year 9, GCSEs coming up. Sarah's just got 8 A's and 3 B's in the GCSEs there. You're like, oh, right. But they're just planting the seed. That's what you're living up to.
That's what you're living up to.
And then Martha Teresa comes along. Oh, half Martha's just got 12 A stars.
Yeah.
And you're just like, I can't compete. That's perfect.
But I'll tell you one thing that is
with that.
One of the most amazing things. So my brother, who is literally our version of Martha Teresa, right? Yeah. He's not just a genius, right? He went to like Harvard. Yeah. Not only did he go to Harvard, he was the valedictorian giving this. He was the best of all those Harvard people. Yeah. But I was talking to him when I was just in Malawi, and he was like, I was telling people about it, and he was like, he doesn't know how he did it. Like him older, he's like, I don't know how I did that stuff.
Our Martha's dead similar, but like she'd be dead humble. She would never like admit that she was perfect.
Okay.
But like 12 A stars, great at art. It's like not only are you academic, amazing at art, and then she's come out to Cambridge first with honours roll at Cambridge, and then it's like now she's building a school in Zimbabwe. And
but
you're
I
like,
think there's some stuff.
You just pay everything about. Like, you don't even come out and chase the money. But you come out and you just pay.
Hiding something there, mate. She's hiding something there. And people do say Mother Teresa actually a cunt. There is rumour that Mother Teresa was a cunt.
Yeah, but all that stuff's complicated because, I'm not willing to jump on that. Because I read about it. No, the people who dislike
it. That's not me.
Because she did amazing things, but there's politics within the church and there's ambition.
Hey, I don't know anything about it.
And I think the whole thing is,
stick that on TikTok.
I do not expect. They are no perfect human beings.
Yeah,
right.
Well,
and the mistake that people make, particularly when they're thinking of famous people, is they want them to be perfect. And then when they find out they're not perfect, they can't handle it. Yeah. Right? Like people angry that Ellen was mean to her. Her the people work for him. Like, but her stand-up's amazing, right?
But then you've got to have, some people have to have that mentality to get to where.
But isn't it also that it's the way you portray yourself in your life? So somebody like if Jim Jeffries was worse to his people, you'd be like, yeah,
that's what you expect.
Ellen, it's like this whole sweetness and light. She has these features where they help out these people and that, and it turns out she's calling the junior a dickhead.
But you can do both. You can be both those things at the same time.
Cosby,
you can be both those things at the same time. He was still a genius, and he was still hilarious. Yeah, but he would drug women.
Oscar Pistorius.
Still dead fast, yeah.
Still dead. Still a good runner.
He's probably faster now.
Still a good runner.
He's faster now because he's got that prison.
I think it's
probably lost a bit of weight as well.
In fact, he would destroy everyone.
It's how you sell yourself, isn't it? That's what people don't like. It's Liam Gallagher.
That's the biggest
can
fall.
Be a dickhead.
Yeah.
Ed Sheeran can't.
Yeah.
So it's the way you get. It's the way you go. Like, right, I'm a piece of shit, and you try and be as open as you can about it.
People are desperate for James Corden to fall because they know he's selling himself as this Mr. Nice Guy.
Well, yeah, that is that whole thing.
Loads of rumors, and then
I'll tell you what's interesting. There are loads of rumors,
allegedly, but I didn't even know.
But there's also like it's very interesting because when people are famous, people kind of seem to decide whether they hate him or they love him.
Yeah,
right. And I know a lot of people in the circuit have decided they hate James Corden. Right. Yeah. But I've also heard really lovely stories about him.
Yeah,
well, right? The comics that have that though.
People that
Jimmy Carter, all the tax things, are the first person to call him.
First person, and also like So again, I actually think fame is a person becomes an idea, right? And it's fed either by we hate this person or we love this person, and it's not real.
You are what you perceive to be.
Yeah.
That's my line.
Is fame different in Africa than it is over here?
Kurt Vonnegut.
Is it? Yeah. There's me trying to fucking take that one for myself.
The full quote is
like Bobby, you play the comics up with the crowd.
Yes.
The
full line is you should be careful what you pretend to be because you are what you are perceived to be. From Mother Night.
Right. On the subject of fame then, is fame different in Malawi
because I'm
than it is over here?
Yes.
And how?
The main difference is I'm just a bloke everyone knows. Right? So there's no
over here or Malawi?
In Malawi.
Right.
So I will say in the UK,
yes,
every day 4 to 6 people recognize me.
Yes.
In Malawi, 4 to 6 people don't recognize me.
Right.
Right? Everyone knows me. But they're not screaming. They're not like I can be walking down the street in the UK and there's someone will recognize me and say, "Oh my God, it's you!"
Yeah.
Right? In Malawi, they all know me, but it's like, "Hey, you're the comedian." Hey. And I'm just like everyone's almost like their family member.
Right.
Because they read about me in the newspaper and stuff. But there's not that fame culture. So they will come and say, "Oh, you're funny," or they'll come and say, "Oh, keep doing what you're doing." But it's not fame. It's not wow.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like they'll come to the shows and stuff like that. But it's just like they know me like they know the local lawyer.
Yeah.
And they know the local, you know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Does that mean in Malawi, is it harder to monetize being sort of something like that then?
Yes, I'm working on it now.
With the fanatics,
I'm working on it now. I'm working on it now. It's only hard to monetize because the average person makes $2 a day.
Right.
Right. So there's only so much you can charge, right?
Yes.
And like when I have expensive tickets, you know you're just selling to the expats and to like the people who work at banks and stuff like that. So it's very hard to monetize it. But there is the fact that everybody knows me and everybody watches my videos and so it's like, how do you turn it into money?
Yeah.
Right. And that's what I'm currently trying to figure out.
Is there a moral thing or a moral thing about what you charge as well sometimes? Because like when Chappelle was over here, the BBC Merseyside asked me about like, how do you feel? Just like I was the best, whatever. You go into a show, no, why? Well, I don't really like shows in arenas, and I don't want to go to see Chappelle and feel let down or feel like I haven't had the full experience. And also, I don't want to pay 150 quid to be in a decent position. And for me, I sort of have a problem with comics charging.
I paid 250 quid to watch Chris Rock 2 months ago. Best show I've ever seen in my life.
Where?
It was Manchester Apollo. I was in the 3rd row.
Right. Was that second-hand sale?
What do you mean?
Or was that a second-hand site sort of thing?
No.
Did you buy that up front? So you paid 250 quid to
bought
Chris Rock?
But I bought it the week that...
so you didn't pay 250 quid to Chris Rock. You paid 250 quid. That was a secondary sale. Someone has bought that ticket and sold it on to you.
I have no idea. I literally said I want to go to the show.
Who did you buy it from?
Where the tickets, and I bought it.
Oh, so he bought it.
So I went to Live Nation or something. I think.
No, so I'd say Chris Rock would have been sold out, wouldn't he? In second.
No, 3rd row. So it was very expensive.
Yeah, but it would have been sold out straight away. Chris Rock.
Oh no! Actually, what happened was What happened was it was booked into the Manchester Arena.
Yes.
Right, and then it was relocated to, the Apollo.
Right.
So 250 quid to be 3rd row seat for Chris Rock. That's what.
Yeah. See,
if I was at the back, I could have got. They were tickets. It's like if you go to the Lion King, they're £300 tickets.
Yeah, but the Lion King, there's 40 staff that need to be paid and things like that. For me,
it was 10 times better than the Lion King.
Yeah, well, I'm not.
Well, Daliso.
But this is where we have a...
You can't.
Is this because I'm African?
The Lion King. No, you can't be disrespecting the Lion. The Lion King.
The Lion King's good, but I went to the Lion King and it was impressive.
In your opinion. But I know you like. I know you're very black and white with where you stand with everything. And that you can't go, Chris Rock show was better.
Does one have to say in your opinion before every time you express an opinion?
Absolutely.
That's absurd. Because if you're speaking, everything is your opinion.
Okay.
It's like people saying, "Can I ask you a question?" Just ask the question.
For me, there's a moral thing. Whereas I would never pay 250 quid. I love Chris Rock to see Chris Rock because there's a greed.
You like football?
Yes.
How much do you pay for your
£38 a match.
£38 a match.
Yes.
Okay. Like, what's the most you've ever spent for entertainment?
On entertainment?
Yeah.
Probably most expensive ticket I've ever bought for something like 50, 60 quid.
Okay. But they were 50, 60 quid tickets.
Yeah.
But I'm touring.
Yeah, no.
Right? No, my point is this. They were 50, 60 quid tickets. But I was like, I'm touring and I make good money.
Yeah.
So one of the luxuries is that I get to watch my favorite comedian in the third row.
I get that, but I don't think your favorite comedian should be selling 250 quid pound.
Oh, no, I think they should. Because
that's where I think there's a big greed involved.
No.
Because you're one
it's
man
not
on
greed,
stage.
It's economy, right? Because
but
everybody wants those tickets. No, everybody wants those tickets, right? So the ones at the back...
Everybody wants gas and lecky.
No, but I'm saying the ones at the back are not the same price as the ones at the front.
Right.
Right? Yeah. So how much should the ones at the front be? You're saying the ones at the front should be 60 quid?
I'm saying the ones at the front should be a much fairer price. Yeah.
I think
there's a moral thing,
especially stand-up. It's potentially excluding somebody that's income is only £1,500 a month. It's excluding them from ever getting the chance to see Chris Rock that close.
No, they can. But why do they need to be in the third row?
Well, exactly. That's what I'm not trying to defend, but that's what he's saying.
Until this year.
Well, why are the third row tickets more expensive?
No, my point is this: for all my life, I would always be right at the back, and I would have a great show, but it was right there. And then I started earning a bit more, and then I was a little closer. Now I'm in the third row. Next year, I might be front row, baby. You know what I mean?
I get it.
I get it. I get the argument. For me, I just think, especially stand-up, where you're meant to be man of the people sort of thing.
I don't think you're meant to be man of the people.
Well, he's a star. That's where different. But for me, I'd never pay that for the stand-up. And I think stand-ups who charge it, it's extortionate.
Okay,
but
so Eddie Murphy hasn't... Okay, my question is, Eddie Murphy comes out of retirement. How much are you paying?
50 quid tops.
What?
Yeah.
Eddie Murphy hasn't gigged since Raw. Comes out of retirement...
It depending on how much money I have. So if I've got enough money to spend that much on it, I'll do it. That's the way I look at it.
Who's your favorite comedian?
Well, ever or like current?
Yeah.
Well, ever's Richard Pryor.
So Richard Pryor, right?
Yeah.
How much would you have paid to see him?
It depends if
because you've got to understand. Chris Rock's my favorite.
Right. No. Listen, I'm not having a go at you.
I'm not having
a go at you for what you paid.
Like I went to watch Eddie Izzard.
I'm having a go at you.
I went to watch Eddie and I paid 40 quid.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's. But
I'm not having a go at you for what you paid. I'm having a go at Chris Rock for what he charged. So for me,
but it's not him. It's Live Nation.
Well, it's no, it's his name.
Okay.
It's his name. For me, if I had to pay £250 to see Richard Pryor, he's not Richard Pryor anymore.
I don't understand.
Well, the
good things cost money.
Yeah, but the person who I think Richard Pryor is, what the kind of comic I think he is, where he's from, what he's done, what he stands for to an extent, doesn't charge 250 quid a ticket.
My air ticket to Malawi cost £2,700.
Yeah.
I enjoyed Chris Rock's show a lot more than I enjoyed that flight.
I'm sure he did. But
things cost money.
But it's not what it's worth to you. To me, my argument is that comic shouldn't put his name to that price.
Yeah, well, I disagree.
Because I think it's extortion.
And when I get there, I'm charging 250 quid.
That's fair enough.
You know what I mean? Like
I'll never charge.
So it's not. So I'll tell you this.
I'm the common man.
But I'll tell you what's.
If I'm on stage,
then I'll tell you what I did
in
Malawi. I'll tell you what I did in Malawi. So there's a place called Kumbali Lodge.
Yes.
Which is like the fancy ass place where Madonna stays when she goes to Malawi, right?
She goes to pick one.
So I did a show there.
Yes.
Right, and the tickets were $100 each.
Right.
And then the next week, I did an affordable show where the tickets were $5.
Yes.
Right? And so the people
that.
who came to the first one were like ministers and people like that. And it was a different kind of show.
Yes.
And it was clean and it was wholesome and it was whatever. And then the people who came to that one. So if you want to go see Chris Rock for
So you changed the show based on how much tickets you charge. So the $5 people got a different show.
They got a
based
different
on
show.
you thought they'd laugh at different stuff.
No. It literally happened in the room, right? In that
I
walked on stage.
5 minutes,
I walked on stage, and literally, the first one's all these people in tuxedos and whatever. That already changes what I'm gonna say, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Right there's the ambassador, the American ambassador. Right there is I'm not opening on fisting, right? You know
There might have been. This is my argument with you. So you've gone that there might have been some of them there that wanted that.
You're saying that, but they loved the show.
I'm saying that, but they might have gone to like relocation level.
Yeah, but some of them came to the affordable show as well.
Right, okay. Well,
they shouldn't have been allowed. If you can afford a $100 ticket, you fuck off for the $5
There's some
ticket.
people who are like just diehard fans. They came to both, right? But
they might have preferred it. Did they ever tell you? They might have gone, the $5
oh, no,
show
my
was way
brother
better.
said that the affordable show was better.
Yeah.
Right? But it was also better because
they were for a laugh more. They feel like got a
they
bargain.
screamed, they were jumping up and down. Like the person in the tux isn't jumping up and down.
No, because they think they're better than you anyway, or
I
they're
don't think
level
so.
with you.
They've just had a meal. It's a different
feel like
vibe.
they're holding
It's a different
themselves
vibe.
different, yeah.
It's a different vibe.
No, I think the whole the ticket price thing is I get both sides of that. Like I also see this game as a smash and grab.
Yeah.
So I think
is, and
if you're in the
also-
position to make 5 million and you think we can sell, why are you going to sell that for 3? Just based on the fact
Also-
of who
I
you are.
also get that, but then again, part of me looks at like so.
Affordable housing on
You
estates.
need to look at the expense
But that's what I'm saying.
of hiring.
But Dave
frickin'
Chappelle
MEN.
rolls 18 deep.
Yeah.
So that's why you need to spend. You need to have a high ticket price. But for me, I just wouldn't pay it, and I think charging more is a bit extortionate.
I don't think so.
I know that's what I'm saying. We're just a difference.
I think it's what we're worth. I think comedy clubs actually don't know what we're worth. Right? Every comedian's underpaid. Right? If you look at one table, well, every good comedian. But I'm saying if you look at one table, right, and they're each paying 20 quid each.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait, 5 people out of these 400 people are paying my fee? That is seriously being underpaid.
Yeah.
So when you're on tour, you're getting paid what you're worth.
Yeah.
But this has been on the comics thing at the minute about the whole unionized thing, isn't it?
That's
The idea that it's never going to happen.
I'm not disagreeing.
Why not?
I'm
It
not
happened in
disagreeing
other
with that.
countries.
Yeah.
It's happened with ACTRA.
People just reckon it won't happen. I mean, I'm not, but
It can happen. I think the people who are saying it can't happen are people who don't want to make it happen.
because
And
they think they're not worth it.
No, promoters and stuff are trying to undermine the idea of it happening. Of course it can happen. It happens in much more cutthroat industries than stand-up. Stand-ups get along. Actors hate each other.
It can definitely happen.
And they've got a union.
I just, like I say, for me, ticket price is part of the show.
I think part of the problem is there would need to be 2 unions. Like if there was a London union and then there was a rest of the country union, we could make it happen. Because when we've had meetings, it falls apart because they're very different circuits.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I've had this
What
argument.
would you say the difference in the circuits is between the
You
London
can do
and...
fucking 60
You
quid
can do,
gigs, but 8
you
of
can
them.
do 60 quid,
Right.
8 of them, exactly. And you can't do that.
So then they're asked about fees. We can only do 2, so we want decent fees for them. For me, just finishing off the ticket price part of the show. I think.
Yes, but
I think you go in with an idea. Like, because I don't mind Taylor Swift.
I'll admit when
charging 150 quid. She puts on pyrotechnics, and it's all a big, massive show. It's experience.
Oh.
If you're seeing one man stand on stage,
But if
telling
that
his
man
jokes-
It's a smash
has
and grab.
spent 4 years
Yeah.
perfecting every joke,
yeah,
it's better than Taylor Swift. Because people don't see the time. Like, for example, that show I saw of Chris Rock, he even opened it by saying, if you guys came to see me talk about this slap thing, I'm not going to, because I spent 4 years
yeah,
writing this, like a joke a week or something. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's perfected it over 4 years. This is like a diamond. Because this is why I love him. They're comedians who kind of freestyle, but he's like a literal...
So, Jeff Ross and Dave Chappelle told us, Dave Chappelle said he writes on stage. He'll go on stage and idea write on stage. Jeff Ross is a bit similar. He's a bit of a different comic, not that whole way. Chris Rock writes what he wants to write about.
Exactly.
And then just writes. And
that's what I love.
Yeah.
Right? For me, my favorite comics are those.
Yeah.
Right? Because I want the crafted, every word is in the right spot.
Yeah.
The people who are like, it's a little bit rock and roll and it's a little bit of improv. I'm like, this is interesting, but that's not my favorite.
See, I want the pain.
Yeah, but the pain is in the...
Yeah, like, it is and it isn't, I think, sometimes.
What do you mean? You put the pain in, but you...
Well, sometimes I think by chipping away, you chip some of the pain out of it as well.
I don't think so.
I want to feel
No,
the
it's
pain.
a crucible. It's
feel
a
the
crucible.
pain and then the humour. I want to feel the pain now.
And I think...
I want to know you're ready to kill yourself and then...
Yes,
funny.
but I think you get the pain better when it's draft 7. Draft 1, you've got the pain, but you're not making them feel it.
I think draft 3, just the right amount of pain and humour. Draft 7, You've got rid of the pain. You've told them
That's
you're upset.
you. Everyone takes a different amount of drafts. So maybe you reach the best version of the joke at draft 3, right? I don't believe that because there's always a better version, right?
Oh, I agree with that. I agree jokes can always be better and stuff like that. But then, like I say, I do think you lose something by... Okay. Because, like I say,
still the best show I've ever seen.
I want to see you teary-eyed.
Maybe he did, and he was teary-eyed. I'm just saying, like.
Well, divorce does that to you.
That thing, which he carved over 4 years.
Yeah.
And every time I see him, I think, oh, that's the best show I've seen. He's not going to beat it.
Yeah.
And then I see him, and it's better.
What's your ticket price?
Where? In what country?
UK.
UK. I think I'm 15.
Across every seat in the arena.
I'm not in arena.
No, but I mean every seat in the theatre. We'll call it. I said arenas.
It's all the same.
Right. Yeah.
Because I'm not like if I'm doing Brighton, maybe it's 25. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But it's not set by me. It's set by what they. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No.
And even when I said it should be a bit less in certain areas, they wouldn't let me do it. I don't control it.
Right.
But like it depends where I am. Like I charge more in Malawi because people love.
They'll pay it, and they'll pay it. If you can sell it for as much as you can, sell it for as much.
To be honest, I think there's another argument there. Which, if you've come from a poor background, like maybe not because Daliso is middle class now, we all found out, but like you know, when some people have a go at like footballers or musicians or something like that, and it's like, oh, you're a mercenary. Why'd you leave that club for more money when you? Let me finish this.
The middle class thing. You're wrong though. In that Malawi middle class is UK lower class.
I know, I'm just taking the piss.
Malawi upper class is UK middle class because we got less money.
Right, fair enough. But I'm just taking the piss. What I'm trying to say is, I sometimes, when people have a go, like footballers, why have you left that team? That's meant to be your boy or club. You want to support them. You've gone for more money. Because sometimes in certain footballers' lives, or in any sportsman, same with comedians, same for singers, same for artists, some of us are one in generations. Some of us are one in a lifetime chance to change our whole family's dynamic. Whereas, like, no one in our family will get that opportunity again. So you've got to make the most of it. If you're from such a shithole, like, and you know, I'm probably the only chance my family's ever going to have to get out of what we're doing, get out of who we are, where we are, and to make this much money. I can understand it. But they're saying, like I say, just being a comedian with comedy, it just gets to me. I don't know why.
Maybe because you can't sell £250 tickets yet.
Sorry, I can't sell £250.
Wait till hot water off you saying, do you want all these tickets for £250?
No, but also...
Just once.
Listen, when I'm not living in Bootle anymore and I'm going to look in the eye of the person who can't afford £250 tickets, I'll go, yeah, fuck you, ta-da.
No, but it's also supply and demand. It's basic economics. If you did a show...
But you believe in economics, though.
I don't like this.
I don't believe...
It's reality.
Yeah, but no, again...
If you went on tour...
Right.
And all the tickets
do you agree
sold out...
Hang on.
You go on tour. You've had your break.
Yes.
You put the tickets at £5.
Yes.
And they all sell out within half a day, within a minute. Yeah. And there are people like saying, oh, I wanted a ticket. People there, and then scalpers have bought them and they start selling them for more.
Well, that's different though, isn't it?
Right, no, but that's what's going to happen because supply and demand.
No, but you
because the demand
you can cut out a second market. There's ways to cut out secondary markets.
And the way to cut out the secondary market is the tickets are
already
expensive.
Overprice your fans.
The tickets are already the gold tickets are already really expensive.
No, I think you can cut out secondary markets anyway. Glastonbury do it quite well. It'll never be complete. You'll never completely do it, but you can do it quite well.
Okay.
It's dead hard to give someone a Liverpool ticket now. You can't do it anymore.
What about if
what?
You donated a certain portion of your stuff to charity?
Yeah.
How about that?
I don't know. I just like
if Chris Rock's there going like, what I haven't told you all is that I give 10% of my tour money to charity.
If Chris Rock was still living where he lived when he started comedy, he wouldn't be charged $250 tickets.
And why should he live there?
No, I'm saying he should live there. I'm saying
greatest comic.
I'm saying if he did, he wouldn't be doing it. I'm not saying he wouldn't be doing it. I'm saying because if you're looking at someone in the face who can't afford your ticket and they're telling you how good you are at comedy, there's a certain party that goes, I'm a cunt.
They don't need to come see me live.
You're only good live, aren't you?
I'm living good life, but I wouldn't be living good life if I
you're
made
good
my
live, aren't you?
£5.
So what would you do if you saw like some kids that were just hard up and they just loved you and they'd love to see you?
Last week, if you look on my Instagram...
And they want to be front row and they never will.
I'll tell you what's funny. If you look at my Instagram, like around a week ago, a homeless guy,
yeah,
right? I've got a lot of I've got a lot of homeless fans.
Yeah.
Right? The reason
What?
Yeah. No, I'll tell you what's interesting. I didn't realize this.
How did this?
I'll tell you why it happens. In shelters, they put on something pretty inoffensive.
Yeah.
I'm pretty inoffensive.
Well, cornering the homeless market is not a very wise economic decision.
Exactly my point. But I'm just saying,
Right.
I don't know, you
homeless
get a lot of
guy
grants.
ran up to me and he was like, "Oh, I'm a big fan, whatever." This is also the difference of beggars in the UK and Africa. He had a phone, right?
Yeah.
There's no beggar in Malawi with a phone.
I saw a homeless man with AirPods in Glasgow. I was like,
no, but more power to him. More power to him. But,
Yeah.
But he wanted a selfie, right? But he had no battery power, so I took it and posted it. But all I'm saying is he can't afford my tickets, but he's my fan. And you're saying that I looked him in the eyes and I should have said, you know what? My tickets should be £2 so you can come watch me.
Yeah. No, there's obviously a sustainable amount of money.
You are not an economist. You are not a businessman. You are just doing it for the love.
Well, there's a difference. You can live a good life and still be affordable.
You know, comedy is our job. It's not our
Chris,
hobby.
Right, yeah, but you can be a millionaire. And well, take this way. Are you fine with the price hike in Lecky and gas at the moment? Cost of living crisis. Are you fine?
I think the economy is fucked. Now you're talking about the world problems.
Well, that's all. That's all they're doing is the same as what a comic who's doing is charge as much as he can.
It's not because
it is.
No. Because
Chris Rock's
you
got a lot of
can
lessons
live
to play.
without watching stand up.
Yeah.
It's a luxury. Luxury prices should be able to go up.
Yeah.
But things which
Don't say that, Daliso. It's we need to make them think that they need us.
But food,
It's a luxury.
health, heat, these are things which are essentials.
Well, not health, not in America.
I know, it's fucked.
There's no right to food.
No, it's fucked.
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying.
So where do you draw the line?
Things which are essential
Yeah.
should be free.
I agree. I do agree, but I don't
think comedy is essential.
I don't think. Yeah, no, I don't think comedy is essential.
I love being a comedian.
But I don't think.
But like,
I don't think I can respect a comedian who I think is trying to make as much money as he can, and that's it.
But you don't know anything about their motivation. You don't know who decides on the prices. You don't know what you know.
Yeah,
what
but they're putting the name to it.
Well, I'll give you a perfect example. So I got there's a comedian who runs a show. There's a comedian who runs a show in Sheffield.
Yes.
Right. I think you'll be able to figure out who it is. Okay. And essentially, when I did my first tour,
yes,
he got very upset and went on a big rant about how this guy put him on all these years, and then now that he's got a little bit of success, he goes and he does this show in this other venue, blah, 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 on and on. Like, I literally have no idea. I literally write jokes and other people book the venue.
But
I never was like, let me screw that person over.
No, of course not.
Most of these comedians are like, I'm doing this show.
His opinion is you could have said, book Mike Sheffield date in that tour. Put Mike Sheffield date in that venue.
And he's wrong.
No, you could have said that though.
I could have said, but I'm saying that
but you
most comedians...
You weren't malicious in what you were doing. But what he's saying is, he's expected that of you.
And I know, he's entirely wrong to expect that of me. All I'm doing is being funny.
Yeah.
And I would actually tell you that most comedians, there are a few, like I've got a friend, Sugar Sammy, who's in the business and he thinks about the venues. Most comedians are like, you know, they'll go to a company. The delight about having a tour company is you're like, okay, I'm writing a new show, book the tour.
Yes.
I guarantee you that's what the Chris Rocks and the Dave Chappelles do.
Totally agree.
Because you do not have the time or energy to waste on how much is this
completely
people
agree.
paying in this market.
Completely agree, but I'm saying all I'm saying is that that's for me as a patron. There's things that things put me off, and that's what would be one of them. And then
do you pay for porn?
No.
You should.
Yeah.
You should. You are wanking for these women, and they're not getting any money. You should pay for porn.
Thank you for taking this here.
I watch.
Thank you, Daliso.
I watch a lot of adverts.
No, because
now I can speak on this one.
Now you can speak.
You're there talking about the cost of living crisis and free healthcare in the aisles to stay shut in.
No. I will tell you the truth.
How many adverts?
Wanking for money.
I pay for porn.
I'm sitting through adverts.
I pay for porn because I feel like...
Where?
I pay.
Do you pay porn on premium or something?
No. So like I have subscriptions
to OnlyFans.
To what?
No. To a few things.
To poor people getting fucked.
No. So I have subscription to...
Just stand outside the shows, you see that?
There are websites which
Yes.
Every day they put up some new high quality.
So you subscribe to individual artists, and that's what we will call they are artists.
Yes, I both subscribe to some individual artists and to some companies.
Yes,
which produce
like a Brazzers or
exactly. I've got one of those. I've got one of those.
Yes,
Brazzers.
Yes. So my point is this: because I was like, I get very like I'm on. You can torrent my first DVD.
Yes,
right?
I have done.
And I remember thinking that I need money, and these people are just like getting it for free.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if I'm not okay with that, I'm paying for all entertainment I get.
Right. That's good.
Right. So my point is, you have a problem with people overpricing, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, you will happily exploit the artistic endeavors of these poor,
every time,
sometimes abused as a child women.
Plenty of comics are abused as a child as well. But
we need the money too.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ,
we need the money too.
If I'm on a porn website, I'll happily sift through adverts and stuff to negate me having to pay them subscription.
Oh wait,
it's like when you're on YouTube Premium.
He doesn't skip that out there.
No.
Don't come in 30 seconds. I'll watch that.
Is not going to the artist. So I think sites like Pornhub are horrible.
But
because they put up people's stuff for free.
They're the Spotify,
and the women don't make money.
They're the Spotify. They're exposing.
Yeah, and so there's a podcast.
There's plenty of OnlyFans people who put the stuff on Pornhub to get you to their OnlyFans.
To get you there, but do you ever go to OnlyFans and pay?
No, my wife won't let me.
Your wife won't.
She said OnlyFans is cheating, so
you wouldn't
pay. She said it's cheating.
OnlyFans is cheating, yeah.
OnlyFans is cheating.
Well, you're paying for a specific person, then, aren't you? So it's different. And also, could be number 44, couldn't it, on OnlyFans?
I do think it is a bit odd having a direct debit to an individual artist.
Yeah.
There's
Patreon. Weren't you just talking to your Patreons?
Yeah, well, we're not getting our kit off.
We're not fucking them or showing them anything that we shouldn't
not
be.
Yet.
No, but why are you saying what shouldn't be? What shouldn't be? If this woman...
Yeah, but then would your partner then look at who you are subscribing to?
Yes. So this is interesting.
So you can't get away with that.
No, so I'll tell you the truth. I'm currently single, right?
Right.
When I was last in a relationship, she knew... Well, actually, she knew who I was into, and she knew the porn I was into.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
And
did she know you subscribing to certain porn stars?
And what happened with that relationship?
But what actually happened is...
My wife says individual porn stars...
She called you a scumbag and you broke up horribly.
No. What actually happened is I think that I wanted more from her than she wanted from me.
Yeah, she only wanted £3 a month from you. That's right.
Yeah, no, I mean, but do you ever have that thing where you realize that in a relationship, there's always someone who's more into it?
Right. Okay.
And
I've been married since I was 18. So no.
Oh, okay.
No, I've been with the same woman since I was 18.
There was a day when I really realized that I'm more into this than she is.
Right.
And that was the end.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is when the invoice come in.
Right. Okay.
But at the same time, like I'm open about who I am.
Yeah.
Right. So but the same way I said to you, I pay for porn. I'll say that to my partner. I used to write porn.
Did you?
Well, erotica.
Oh, I think I could do that.
It's the right.
Well, why did you stop?
Harder than you think.
Why did you stop?
Oh! It only paid well if you're a
Right.
student. It only paid well if you're a student because it paid little.
Yeah.
But for a person who's a student, 20 quid is a lot.
Right.
So who
But
did you write erotica for?
So initially, I wrote like
50 Shades.
No. I wrote beside dirty magazines. They would have text.
Have you got a
accompanying the
little
images.
sample you could just tell us now?
Oh no! I'll tell you what I have a sample of. So it was terrible and it didn't pay well. And
Something
I
close to
started
high
seeing
school,
someone. I started seeing someone who had a problem with it. So then I switched and I started writing erotica for women. Little did I know it pays a lot more.
Yeah, because they love it,
Right.
don't they?
Also,
We're visual.
you get paid per word, right? And so for guys,
The more descriptive.
yeah, the guys, the sex scene has to happen on page 1. Women,
Yeah.
it has to happen on page 10.
Yeah, they want the build-up.
They want the build-up.
Yeah.
So, and I'm a writer, so I
They
can
want
write
the
the build-up
scenario
and
and
stuff
they
like
Maybe
that
I'm a
and
woman
stuff
because that's what I like in porn. I like a little bit of a scenario in
Yeah,
porn.
but I wrote a bunch of stuff, and there's even an anthology.
Did you end up masturbating every article you wrote? Like you had to take. Come on, you had to take. It's like writing comedy. I want to make myself laugh.
Yeah.
I want to make myself hard.
Yeah.
The end. What goes hand in hand?
No, the reason why I liked it was I curated my fantasies because I often would be watching stuff and be like, this isn't very hot. But now I could write everything and but that's the joy of creativity is you write better entertainment. Like if you write a book, you're writing the book you want to read.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you should be. That's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah. Say, would you pay to see yourself? That's one of the things, isn't it?
Would you pay 250 quid to see yourself?
Hell yeah.
Yeah. How much would you pay? What's the maximum ticket you'd charge to yourself?
No, okay, I'm not Chris Rock. So I'd pay maybe 100. Pay 100.
Is that what you think you're worth, 100 quid?
I'm 100.
So you think on your tour you resent them thinking, you're getting me for fucking buttons?
No, because there are a lot of them. Right? There's 300 people. They're splitting the
bill.
They're splitting the bill. That's the whole point.
Yeah,
right. So what are you worth?
So I think I'm worth like $2,000.
Right.
An hour.
Right? Yeah.
So there's 1,000. You're going to charge £2 each.
Yeah.
So you are going to charge £2 tickets then?
Oh, but you're saying when I get better.
So when you start playing the 2000s.
No, I'm not saying
I just love the underlying theme of the last half an hour of this idea.
I have nothing against. No, but I have a problem with being underpaid. I have nothing against being overpaid.
Yeah.
Or I wouldn't do a corporate in my life. The whole point of doing a corporate is you're massively overpaid.
No, it's you're fucking the man. That's what it is. Fuck the system.
But what if it's not the man? What if the corporate is a little company? But that's what a corporate costs. Okay, it's like a little okay, I did one which was people who are accountants. I did one which was people who make white goods salesmen, so fridges and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's a very difficult gig, and they hired a lawyer that same day who is charging more than you do. Do you know what I mean? Like, so you scale up because that's what that industry costs. But I actually think that because comedians are underpaid.
Yeah.
Well, for me, it's just a smash and grab, and you just get what you can. And I get why you're thinking is the idea of that you don't want to price people out, or that's too much. You should be reasonable with. I get that as well. So I see both sides of it.
There's a saying from Henry Ford, which was you've got to pay you've got to pay them enough to afford the car. Let me finish.
Okay.
Got to pay them enough to afford the car. I am a common man. That's on stage. That's what I am. I talk about being working class, about the family I come from. I talk about my environment. I can't stand on stage and do that if I've priced people out who come from that environment.
But will you ever be a star then?
I just have to talk about other shit, won't I?
To be a star, mate, you've got to be like...
I think you're hampering yourself. And I think you're not valuing what you do enough. Right? Because if you worked hard for 10 years and became a doctor, you would be getting paid £1,000 a day, right? If I worked that hard, £100 an hour.
What's the system? If I worked 10 years, come hard to become a doctor, I wouldn't ever go private and price out the people that.
Yes, but if you're a specialist, NHS, you're getting paid £100.
But I'm not pricing anyone out then.
Do both NHS and private.
No, but what I'm saying is, I'm not talking about that. I'm saying how much you're not valuing yourself is. When you've put as much time as you've put into comedy and you get good at comedy, you should be getting paid like you put this time into becoming a great
totally
doctor or a lawyer.
What you said before, I think is probably one of the best ways to go about it. $100 show, $5 show. Yeah. I think if I ever reached them heights, that is something I'd consider.
Oh, because you can do that. You can do that.
I'd consider doing so.
Like Portsmouth tours and also does the cheap show.
Yeah, but he does that for videos. But anyway, I'm only joking.
The people like it.
But so M&S Arena, the Echo Arena, there's an 8,000 seater and a 2,000 seater next to each other. I think if I was a comic big enough, I would sell £100 tickets for maybe 10 nights in the 2,000 seater, and I would do £10 tickets, 8,000 one night in the arena.
Okay, I see what you're saying, but I also think your management would drop you.
Yeah, I'd drop him as a co-host as well. Say, Rob, fuck off, mate. You're doing us out of £500,000 here for fucking nameless faces again.
Because you don't even...
Just so you can still go to assault you cunt.
You don't even realise the contracts which you sign to do a tour
again, this is the fancy and the reality.
Requires them to make money.
Yeah. But again,
the reason I'm not with Live Nation anymore is they took so much money.
Yeah, so...
Right? But it was the biggest tour I've ever done.
Yeah.
I do smaller tours now and I make more money.
Yeah.
Now, those people who are who you need to be with... for arenas, I'm not going to let you do that.
Well, we'll see.
I think that's, again, a fantasy reality.
When Bobby turns up.
When the reality of that money hits you and you go, you'd be different. The fantasy of it now, it's like, as I've always said, it's like being shit on. You think, that'll be horny, but then the reality of it happens to you and you go, oh, this is not good. Same way you're going, like, I'd suit to 8,000 at 10 quid, and they were, by the way, you're going to make 800 grand there. And if you just did that thing, no one would really give a shit, and you'd walk away with 8 million. You'd be like,
also, you don't realize that, again, there's, like, there are people in the audience who are going to hate me, but you are going to have expenses you don't even realize, right? As you get more success.
About them. I know all about the cokes and whores.
Right.
They're coming.
So I'm just saying there are things like, okay, so now you've got a crazy mortgage because your wife convinced you to get into a big house because you're now successful.
I'll take no convince.
And then you're like, oh no, I need to make this money to pay that crazy thing, which is unnecessary, but it's now part of my life. Your ticket sales need to go up.
As I just said, Daliso, though, if I'm living in a crazy house, I'm no longer looking at people a bootle in the eye. So fuck them.
So in conclusion, charge what you fucking want for your tour show.
Right. Thank you very much.
Thank
Sign
you.
up to the
Thank
Patreon.
you.
Come to the live show. Daliso, where are we finding you?
I am on tour now. It's called Apocalypse Not Now. And you can come if you're willing to pay the ticket cost. If you're not willing to pay the ticket cost, check out Amazon Prime, What the African Said.
Where can they find your tickets, Daliso?
My tickets are all on africancomedian.com.
Right. Excellent.
I took it first.
And what are your socials?
My socials are Daliso Chaponda on everything.
Let's sell that baby out.
Thank you very much.
Then he can live
Go and buy
happy.
the tickets. He's worth it. When he gets to £250, we'll have a discussion. Ta-da.